Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Ravel saved neglected Issei and married her? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Lucifer Gizia for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. It was morning already. There's sunlight coming in from a window at the side of the large extra room I'm in. I also heard a light from behind me. My stomach feels really empty. I didn't have dinner, so I suppose that makes sense. I wasn't hungry. In a way, I'm not even hungry now. I almost feel like I never want to eat again. Is this a feeling of disgust? Issei-sama. Another light, followed by some rustling noises. The body of Ravel is shuffling around behind me. It seems like she's waking up. Issei-sama? I could hear Ravel getting up. She must have lifted her upper body up and began rubbing her eyes tiredly when she called out to me. I'm sitting up at the opposite edge of the bed. My posture is probably slouching. I'm looking down at my lap after all. Do I look sad? Does it even matter? Issei-sama? Ravel calls out to me. She sounds a bit afraid. Do I look scary? Drake? Well, partner. Do you recall those moments in which you came to let your emotion get the best of you, and your body released a certain aura in response? Yeah. Well, what sort of aura do you believe you are releasing now? But that usually happened when I was having bad thoughts. I'm not thinking of anything bad now. Partner. Which part of you describes you best, what you are thinking, or what you are feeling? Issei-sama? Ravel called out to me again. I don't know how to make the aura go away because I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I feel empty. I turned to Ravel with the best smile I could muster right now. It feels like an empty one though. It most certainly looks fake, doesn't it? Morning, Ravel. Gee, good morning. Issei-sama. She responded to me nervously while lowering her head a bit. I guess I'm intimidating her. I decided to turn back around. How do you feel, Issei-san? Ravel. I interrupted her before she could finish her question. Why yes? Call sensei for me. I'd like to talk to him. Please. Why yes, Issei-sama. Would you like to speak to him alone? Sorry. And no, it is alright. Would you like me to bring you some breakfast? And yes, I'm not hungry. But if I don't ask for food, Ravel probably won't feel at ease. I could practically imagine her shoulders lose some of their tension from behind me. Very well. Ravel got up from the bed, and I could hear her opening the door briefly. I shall return shortly. And with a quick shut of the door, Ravel was gone. Dakuin. Guess I'm alone now. Somehow, I feel a bit more at ease now that she's gone. Last night, I didn't want to be alone. I felt like something was going to happen to me if I slept alone for another night. But when I woke up, I couldn't stand lying next to her. I kept getting this eerie feeling that the longer I lie next to her, the greater the chance I had of something bright and thin piercing through my belly. Ping! My head, ow! Somehow my head randomly felt a tinge of pain, and then it started ringing. The ringing is slowly dying down until it's quiet. But the thing I was thinking about, I'm sure it was you, wasn't it? Hydra residence, it was a school day. And yet, a majority of the Hydra household residents were at home, gathered in different places. Din dun dun, game over. The television made a colorful sound. The one who was playing video games, mindlessly, on said TV was Kaneko Tuju. She had a distant look in her eyes that suggested she was in no way invested in whatever she was playing at all. Perhaps somewhere, lost in her own thoughts, whatever they may be. Most likely, there was a serious lack of thought going on, more than anything. But deep under it, was serious concern. Behind Kaneko, on the couch, were a couple other members of the peerage. Zenobia sat on that couch, directly behind where Kaneko was positioned. Her expression was a bit more complicated than her comrades'. It was mix of great confusion and slight guilt. Just the day before, she had remarked to Issei that even though she was dense, she understood the situation even better than he did. It wasn't really meant to be a jab as much as just an honest statement, but she fully believed Issei had deserved his treatment. Now, however, she was confused. She had believed that she was right to say what she said, but Issei's reaction was something she didn't expect. Why would something like this have such a heavy consequence? This isn't something they expected from Issei. Wasn't he just as simple-minded as herself? There was more under the surface. Did she misunderstand the situation? Does she not understand Issei at all? Sitting on that same couch, alone, near the very edge, was Akino. Her head was lowered, with her hands sitting lifelessly in her lap. On her face was an expression of pure guilt. Out of all of the members of the peerage, she was most likely the most emotionally intelligent, along with Kaneko, especially when it involved a previous trauma. Akino had always loved her father, but in the moments of her mother's death she had no justification for her hatred. In order to avoid the greatest emotional and mental distress in her years alone, she designated her father and her relation to fallen angels as the prime justification for burying her sorrow. Hate is easier to deal with than sorrow after all. But more than that, ignorance was a strong tool for trauma. Feigning ignorance for the sake of protecting oneself. She knew this well. She knew what it felt like to lie to yourself. To convince yourself of something you knew deep down wasn't true. It was her greatest protection. Issei fixed that. He was the one who came along to give her a chance at redemption. He gave her a chance to finally retrieve herself from the deepest parts of her heart, instead of hiding her pain behind a thin veil of false hatred. And now, he was in his worst state, according to Azazel, a state they've never seen him in, let alone imagined him being in, and according to Azazel, it was all their own doing. The more she thought about what happened in the clubroom, even shortly after it happened, she couldn't help but feel like there had to be more to the situation than what they previously thought. Something she didn't want to consider a possibility. She had an assumption. A very likely assumption, as to why Issei may have had such a serious reaction. She hoped that this assumption was incorrect, but considering the facts already presented, it was practically undeniable. There was almost no doubt. But if something like that was the case, then the best course of action would be to console Issei now. If they only explained and showed their understanding, maybe that would fix everything. But it might be too late now. They may have just missed the only window they had to returning to their everyday life. The way Azazel lectured them so seriously was something they couldn't predict. The way Issei reacted was something they couldn't predict. From this point on, they didn't have a proper way to deal with the situation. What sort of outcome would this situation even have? Would things even be the same anymore? Could they return back to normal? Who knows? But Issei will not be staying for long. Azazel will be taking him away. His recovery was top priority, and if that recovery involved separation from the group, then the situation does not bode well for the group at all. The males of the group, Gasper and Kiba, were attending school as per usual. They were not aware of the situation as they were not present during the events that took place at the Hydra residence. After all, they live in a different mansion. As a teacher, Rosweiss was faithfully fulfilling her duties. But it wouldn't be inaccurate to say that she would become distracted briefly throughout her classes this day. As concerned as Irina was, she was a bit more of an attentive student. She decided that staying home in the same manner everyone else has would do no good for their health, especially if they aren't even going to get the chance to see Issei before he leaves. Besides, compared to the rest of the girls, she can't help but feel more disconnected with Issei at this point. The old days of their friendship were long gone after all. The last two women were in the kitchen, finishing breakfast, along with the mother of the household. Asia was beside Mother Hyoudou, cooking while she spoke to her casually. Despite how much she tried, Asia could not fully listen to everything being spoken to her. Her mind was too cruel to her in that regard. It simply doesn't let her. She has a great sense of guilt lurking in her conscience. She had reacted quite emotionally yesterday. After all, her precious one Isama ended up being hurt after the man they loved disregarded her feelings. Asia was unbelievably conflicted at the time, to say the least. But now, she felt guilty and sad. The collective actions of the group ended up having a terrible effect. According to Azazel, Issei was at his worst. And Asia was part of the reason why. She disliked her naivety, because it's what compelled her to act on her emotions that way. But then, what would that say about the other girls who acted similarly? She was conflicted by that once again. Finally, the last household resident, arguably the most relevant person in this situation. Rias Gremory was also in the kitchen, assisting in making breakfast. Or at least, she tried originally. In truth, Rias was now doing nothing more than staring into a plate of food with a distant look. She was tasked with setting the table, since most of the breakfast was already finished, and some eaten by those who were already attending school, such as Irina and Rosweiss. Most of the table was already set and ready with plates of food. Yet, a majority of the residents weren't making an attempt to eat any of it. Rias was the same. She stared down at what was meant to be her own plate of breakfast without interest. She didn't want it. She didn't care for it. There was only one thing she wanted. The one thing she knew that she couldn't have. The one thing she might not have again. It's making her uneasy. But overall, there was a great desire. A desire to see him. She just wanted to see him. Of course, she actually wanted more than that. She wanted to touch him, and speak with him, and more, but she knew that wasn't fully possible. But, at the very least, she just wanted to see him. She couldn't do any of that. It felt unfair. The fact that she was not allowed to even see her own servant, that she considered hers in more ways than one, was a powerful strike to her pride and more. The poor little princess was unaware of the cruel irony of the situation. Rias Onissima. Rias was snapped from her stupor by Asia, who stood beside her with a concerned expression. I'm sorry, Asia. I'm all right. Asia didn't believe her very well, but she didn't know what to say. There wasn't a proper response she could give to Rias. Issei's mother could see that something was wrong with everyone, and somehow it had to do with her son. He must have done something serious. Honestly, what an irresponsible boy, is all she could think. 2. Pom 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 pom. As if all of Rias' devil instincts were focused on the rooms upstairs, her senses immediately caught on to the fact that someone was descending down the stairway. I see. Rias whispered his name under her breath after whipping her head in the direction of where the living area is located. Asia also followed her gaze with a bit of hope. Rias quickly exited the kitchen with Asia right behind. Rias's weak, but hopeful smile quickly faded from her face, as she brought the staircase into her view. The one at the bottom of it was not who she had hoped. Instead, it was Ravel Phoenix. Gee, good morning. Ravel greeted the Gremory group of women with an awkward attitude that was reflective of the atmosphere. Upon realizing who it was, Rias lost any energy she had, and her shoulders slumped again. The other girls weren't sure why they were surprised, but their smidgen of hope was also gone. Ravel looked like she gathered a bit of her courage to speak under the heavy atmosphere. Issei-sama would like some breakfast. The atmosphere lightened up a bit as Ravel suddenly became the center of attention again. Issei wanted breakfast. That was a good sign. Rias's expression brightened up slightly. Tea then. I should take it to him. Rias excitedly tried to suggest, but as the seconds passed, the reality that it was impossible sunk in even more. Rather than answering, Ravel only lowered her head, confirming Rias's suspicions. I am sorry, Rias-sama. Issei's mother then abruptly appeared from around the corner. Ravel-chan. Is Issei awake yet? Yeah? Why yes, Ooka-sama. I came for his breakfast. Why? He sent Ravel-chan? That boy. Sending a girl to retrieve his breakfast. Honestly. If he wants breakfast, he should get it himself. Issei's mother ended it in an exasperated tone. Ravel only fidgeted in place, while the rest of the group frowned, knowing the truth. It was a more sensitive topic for the rest of the group. Issei's mother seemed to have picked up on it based on the girl's behavior, and also started feeling awkward. Ravel simply asked about what she came for. No. May I have a plate of my own as well? Why yes, of course, Ravel-chan. Come. Ravel followed Issei's mother into the kitchen, while the quiet and sullen atmosphere returned to the household. Part 2. I see. I sat quietly on the bed, in the same position, while waiting for either Ravel or Azazel-sensei to show up. I wonder what everyone else is doing right now. From up here, it's not very easy to tell, but it seems like a lot of them are still here at home. Somehow, I don't want to see them. Sheen! A familiar noise sounded off from behind me, accompanied by a familiar light. A magic circle? When the light finally died down, I heard a familiar voice as well. Yo, Issei. You're awake. It was none other than Azazel-sensei. He appeared from the magic circle and greeted me like normal. But he paused momentarily after seeing me. I see. That's you, right? I guess he's worried about whether I'm acting like yesterday or not. I may even still be releasing the same aura. Though I wouldn't know, since I don't remember. Yeah, I'm here. I said that while turning to face him. I didn't bother with the fake smile this time. If it's sensei, then he would know either way, so there's no point. I see. Do you mind? He walked up to the opposite side of the bed, behind me, and pointed at it, asking whether he could sit or not. Of course not. Go ahead, thanks. He sat down casually, in a similar position as me, but on the opposite end and with his back turned. We're essentially mirroring each other's images. Is he trying to relate to me subconsciously or something? What? I've never really thought that deep into something like that before. I see. Sensei called out to me. So, what did you want to talk about? Where do I even start? The room was left in silence, because I couldn't find the words to speak. Take your time. Shemhazai should be covering for me back home. Should be fine. Hee hee. What an irresponsible governor. In that case, Sensei. Yesterday calm down. I'm the only one here, you know? Why, yeah, calm down. It's okay. I'm afraid. I know. If I want to tell this to Sensei, I'll have to open up. It scares me. I don't want to say it. But if I don't say it, I may never get better. I may never get the answers I'm looking for. This is something I need to say. All of it is. Oh, grandfather in heaven, I'm so scared. I've never said this to anyone. I can feel something more than fear building up inside of me, and it scares me even more. There's a lot I have to say, and it's so hard to say it. There's a lot that wants to escape me, but I'm afraid to let it out. But I have to. I have to take the risk. I don't know what else to do, Sensei. I could feel my body start to shake violently, without my consent. I held my head in my hands to try and keep my vision still. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what will happen. To that person. She's still fresh in my mind. I hear her. I see her. All the time. I don't know if she'll ever go away. I ignore her so often. But she always comes back. I don't know what to do. I feel like she keeps me from moving forward. And now, what I feared most. I think it's happening. 1. I hear no response from him. My fear is rising with every silent second that passes, with every word spoken. Help me, grandfather. Give me strength. I feel so alone. I feel like no one is on my side. Could I have just been led around? Could I have been left behind? What happens when I become a burden? Has that already happened? She's the one who keeps me thinking like that. I don't want to believe it's true. But she's the one who keeps me in that same place. She won't let me move. I'm stuck. She keeps me in that state of ignorance. And fear. Because if I ever get out, I'm afraid she'll be waiting on the outside for me. Or maybe someone else will be waiting in her place. Something wet is dropping from my face. I don't want to keep going. But I have to. I'm already this far. And either way, a part of myself refuses to let me stop. I don't want to be like this. It's not fair. I try so hard. What did I do? I never did anything. Is it because I was a pervert all this time? Is that why? If it is, then I'm sorry. But I couldn't give it up. Because it was the only thing I had left to hide behind. It was my only form of self-protection. Maybe if I was stronger. But I'm not. I can't. I'm not as strong as everyone needs me to be. I try to carry everything so that everyone can rely on me. But if that doesn't work, then what will happen to me? What will happen to me, if she was right all along? Pumph. I could feel the bed press down a bit from next to me. A hand lands on my shoulder. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. The grip I held on my head tightened. And Sensei gave me his heartfelt lecture with a rare, gentle tone. Listen, Issei. Even the strongest people are afraid of something. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially someone like you. The only reason it frightens you so much is because of how kind-hearted you are. Along with your strength comes a weakness. The weakness of being too kind. That kindness brings people closer to you, but it leaves you open to pain. You aren't unbreakable. You aren't supposed to be. You need support just like everyone else. There's no problem with that. You shouldn't believe that you have to carry everything. And the people around you shouldn't support that idea alone either. It's not wrong to feel cheated when something unfair happens. And most of all, it's not your fault for ruining. It's not cowardly. You're not in the wrong here, even if others may want you to believe you are. You have just as much of a right to think about yourself as they do for themselves. Especially when they become selfish. I know you are afraid. It's scary to think that the day you have to rely on others, they may not be there, and I can't guarantee that everyone you expect to be on your side will be. But if it's any consolation, I will do my best as your sensei, no? As your friend, I will be the support you need. I may not be the one you want to hear that from, but in case you have nowhere else to turn to, I'll be there. This time, I will. And if anyone or anything tries to disrupt that, then I'd be more content with dying on the spot. If I can't accomplish such a thing, then I'm just a failure of a comrade, and even more as a tutor. Heh. Well, I've already failed there, haven't I? But at least I can try to be that support from now on, yeah? I could say nothing, but... I felt my chest become a little tight. Dokuin. Suddenly, the door burst open. It must be Ravel. I can hear something shaking. She must be carrying a tray with food on it. Moreover, I can hear her sobbing. And me too, hic. Issei-sama. Hic. I as well. Sniff. W with every fiber of my being. Hic. I will always support you. T to the best of my ability. I swear it. Hic. I promise, I will always, hic. Be by your side. You. She said all of that with tears gushing out from her eyes, and in between chokes of her voice. All of her powerful emotion was resonating with me. Ravel. Ha! Looks like you've made the girl cry, I see. Or maybe that's my fault? Oh well. Who knows? Sensei stood up and took a stretch. I suppose I should leave you two alone, shouldn't I? He took a step away from the bed. I see, I'll return in a few hours. Gather whatever you want to take with you. I still don't know how long you'll be staying at Grigori, but I suppose that all depends on your recovery. I'll give you your time. All right, I'll get out of your way now. Call me when you're ready, eh? Sheen! Sensei quickly disappeared in a magic circle without another word. I didn't even have time to process what he said to me. Yet I could feel the weight of his words. I could feel something approaching the bed from behind me. Issei-sama, hic. I feel a hand tugging and holding on to the back of my shirt. Issei-sama. Hic. I will always, hic. Sniff, sniff. I will always sob. I will always be there for you. A sharp pain in my chest, but I couldn't resist from turning around. Even with the tears streaming down my face. Ravel. Issei-sama. Pomf. Before I could do anything, Ravel suddenly jumped to embrace me. Her arms quickly wrapped around me and her head was on my shoulder. I will always try my best, sniff. So please, hic. Please. Let me stay by your side. I don't want to be. I do not know what it is that haunts you, hic. I do not know who it is, sniff. But even so. Please. Please let me support you. Alone, please. Please allow me to stay by your side. My arms brought themselves around Ravel's body without thought. Please. Don't leave me alone. I felt her grip tighten considerably, and she suddenly burst out into loud cries. WH. Issei-sama. I'm sorry, IE. You. 1. Ravel apologizes for crying. My teeth are grit so hard, from me holding back. My chest feels so tight. And it hurts so much. But with every silent tear that runs down my cheek, I can feel my chest lighten up, just a little bit. Is it okay? Is it really okay? To put all of my trust in you. Ha 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 ha, a filthy devil like you. You. I see, Sam. I will always dash. No matter what. Yeah. I suppose I couldn't hold it back anymore. At the very least, my chest would soon come to lighten up. So much so, that I felt like I could finally breathe again. Or, at least, enough to finally let it out. From downstairs, all of them could hear it. No matter how muffled it may have been. The cry was too strong not to hear reverberate throughout the walls of large, quiet estate. And there they stood and sat, as if frozen in time, not a single movement or sound being made. Reality had made its call. Part 3. I see. It's been a couple hours. After the whole session that Ravel and I had, we spent about an hour in silence. We were hugging for a long time. I started to feel a lot better thanks to her and Sensei. Though a part of my heart still feels a bit heavy. I still don't know how I feel after all of the things involving the other club members and Bucho. Sensei said it would take a lot of time to process all of this. He said he'd talk to Surzek-sama about it. I don't want him to, honestly. I'm afraid of what will happen. Will Surzek-sama be angry with me for what I did? Sensei said I did nothing wrong, and that I was reacting normally. But what will Surzek-sama think? I wonder if he'd be mad. Even more than that, I wonder what Sensei will ask him to do. I have only a month to recover before the match, but Sensei said he doesn't want to rush me into recovering. So, will he be asking Surzek-sama to delay the game? That would be terrible. Considering the popularity of the game, that decision wouldn't sit well with audiences either. It would be infinitely worse if it was cancelled, but I could never see that happening. Anyway, I sent Ravel out after I calmed down a bit, to make sure no one comes to our floor while I gathered my things. Sensei said to avoid contact with the others as much as possible, a request that would be quite cruel to ask in the past. But right now I agree. I don't think I should see them. I don't know what I would feel. So right now, I'm back in my room packing some things. There isn't really much I can take with me. I mean, aside from the essentials, I can't think of anything that I would bring. Maybe a few porno mags? Haha, somehow. I don't feel the desire to bring them. Dering, HM? Someone sent me a mail. Oh, it's Sensei. Are you ready? Yeah. I guess I'm ready as I'll ever be. Send. I continued packing, or rather, finished packing, since there wasn't much to put in that they couldn't already provide me. It only took a few minutes, but soon enough, a magic circle formed near my bed. HM? It's a fallen angel circle for sure, but this is one I'm not familiar with. It's similar to the symbol for Grigori, but with a lot more complicated runes instead of the standard transportation ones. Could it be someone important? Sheen. Hello, hi to Issei-san. It has been quite some time since we first met. The one who was revealed from the light was a somewhat familiar young male with white/grayish-colored hair. This person is important. Shemhazai-san. Oh, you remembered me. I assumed that you had forgotten my face. Shemhazai-say. I mean, Shemhazai-sama. What are you doing here? I tried greeting him a bit more formally, but he just waves it off kindly. Oh please, none of that is necessary. Even amongst my subordinates, it bothers me to hear such formality. I prefer not to focus on those things. I don't have enough of an ego to find any comfort in it. He said that casually while approaching me. I didn't really ever get to properly meet him. The only time I spoke with him was during the incident with Loki when he transported Saji over in his new form. That was over communication though, not in person. He's a much more unassuming kind of guy than I imagined. As a leader of Grigori, he doesn't seem much. Sensei has a very mysterious air about him while Barakil-san has a tough, intimidating exterior. But compared to those two, Shemhazai-san doesn't seem very commander-like. He looks way younger than them, only looking like he's in his early 20s, unlike the middle-aged looking Sensei and Barakil-san. Plus, he isn't as big, and his voice is not really deep. So what brings you here, Shemhazai-san? HM? I'm here to pick you up, of course. Wasn't Sensei coming to get me? Yes, well, he ended up being a bit delayed in his interaction with Barakil. Barakil-san? Indeed. HM? Azazel. Where are you off to? Ah. Barakil. Good timing, actually. I was just about to be off to pick up Issei, the Security boy. Hyoudou Issei? Yeah, he's goa be staying here at Grigori for a while, so I'm off to get him. Oh. Is that so? For what reason is he staying? Does he not have an important rating game to be training for? Or could that be why you bring him? Yeah, that's what I wanted to explain to you. He's coming anyway, so I suppose now is a good chance. Your manner of speech is odd, Azazel. Has something happened? Yeah, actually. Issei and the group had a bit of a falling out. It ended up becoming a bit more serious than expected. A falling out? They are having a conflict? Well, might as well explain it properly. Take a seat, friend. I'll try to make it quick, but it's still a bulky story. Just don't go making any rash conclusions or thoughts regarding Issei Aquino, alright? Especially with Issei. Let me explain thoroughly first, and then you'll understand. The way you say it makes it seem even more worrisome, but, very well, good. Shemhazai, you head off and grab Issei, will you? I'll probably get there a bit after to explain to his parents, and finalize his leave. Understood. Alright, Barakil. Try not to be too mad at me when I start. It's a lot deeper than it seems. That's around when I came here. I see. So he's explaining it to Barakil-san, huh? Hopefully, he hears Sensei out enough to listen to the full story. I don't want to die yet. So, Hyoudou Issei-san. Shemhazai-san caught my attention again. Are you ready to leave? Yeah, but before I could finish answering, the door opened and someone entered the room. Dakuin. Issei-sama. And, oh, Ravel. This is Shemhazai-san, the vice-governor of the Fallen Angels. Shemhazai-san, this is Ravel Phoenix. She's a friend of mine. Hello? Ravel greeted him with a nervous bow, clearly becoming aware of his importance. A pleasure. Is this the guest that shall be visiting on occasion that Azazel mentioned? Why yes, Shemhazai-sama. If it is all right with you, I would like to visit Issei-sama as much as possible. She bowed again. Ravel is really respectful when she needs to be. And whenever it involves me. Of course. Even if I did not approve, you would be welcome to visit Grigori at any time. As an ally to every side, I have no reason to refuse such a request. Especially if it involves the Security, Hyoudou Issei-san, who will be staying at Grigori as well. Thank you very much, it is all right. No need to be so formal. Why yes, he really is laid back, huh? Like a more docile version of Sensei. He's nicer too. A cool guy for a leader. So then, if you're ready, then we should set off, Hyoudou Issei-san? Looks like it is time. I have nothing else to do right now. Might as well get out of here. Leaving my home. I looked down to Ravel, who is holding her hands together sadly. She asks Shemhazai-san with a hopeful gaze, how often will I be allowed to visit him? As much as you'd like, I suppose? I won't be barring you from showing up every day, if you do. It isn't my place to prohibit you. So, I suppose it all depends on Hyoudou Issei-san himself. Ravel turned her hopeful gaze up to me. I want her to continue her normal life. I mean, I still want to see her too, but I don't want that to get in the way of her studies or her duties as a devil, or anything. I guess. Just don't skip school to come see or anything. Okay? Ravel's face sparkles into a beaming smile. It felt like it warmed up my heart a bit. Unexpectedly, she quickly wrapped herself around me, happily. Yes. Thank you so much, Issei-sama. Why yeah, sure. But then she slowly realized what she'd done, and released me with a red face. I am sorry. And no, it's alright. I scratched the back of my head awkwardly. But this isn't the time to be acting like that. I should act more mature. It's that childish part of me that is so, Ravel. I cleared my throat and tried looking at her seriously. Then Ravel? I'll be going now. She becomes sad momentarily, but then she gains a face of determination. Yes, Issei-sama. Please take care. I will see you, whenever I can. I nodded. Yeah. You too. We were left silently staring at each other like that for a bit. Very well. Shall we go, eh? I was snapped out of it by Shemhazai-san. We were staring at each other awkwardly, weren't we? Why yeah, sorry. Let's go. I grabbed my luggage and stood beside Shemhazai-san. Then, I'm off, Ravel. Yes. Stay safe. Yeah. I smiled at her. Shemhazai-san formed the magic circle beneath us. Sheen. With that, I left my home for Grigori that day. Part 4. When I opened my eyes, we were in Grigori already. Come, Issei-san. I'll have to show you to your quarters as quickly as I can. I'm afraid I still have work to do. Shemhazai-san started leading me down the halls of the facility. I have been to Grigori once before. After the stuff with Loki, I accompanied Akino-san here to Grigori once. Or actually, it was a new headquarters built in the Kanto region of Japan. From the looks of it, this is the actual main headquarters in the underworld. Didn't know I was coming to this one. While we were walking, we suddenly ran into someone familiar. I couldn't help but flinch slightly upon realizing who it was. Barakil, Shemhazai. And it was Barakil-san who greeted Shemhazai-san. His gaze shifted to me. I averted my eyes instinctively. Was Sensei able to convince him? Is he mad? Tap. I feel a hand lightly place itself on my shoulder. I lifted my head to see Barakil-san, who had a serious expression. It seems I have to apologize, Hyoudou Issei. He said something unexpected to me. He's apologizing. The last we encountered each other, I had finally decided to leave Akino in your care. However, it was only recently, thanks to you, that we began interacting with each other properly, as father and daughter. As a parent, I haven't spent much time with her. Because of that, there are many things she still does not understand, things I have not yet come to teach her. As an adult, I easily understand the situation and your circumstances. I understand that, in a relationship of that mere, there must be a mutual understanding, or care for communication. But my daughter, she is still young. She is still naive. No matter how intelligent she may be, there are times when she simply won't understand things that are not taught to her. That's why, I know this may be too imposing to ask of you, especially at this time. But, then, Barakil-san did something unbelievable. He bowed his head fully to me. Please, do not allow such a thing like this to affect your connection with her. If not for your sake or my own. Maybe it is too much to ask if it is for her sake. But, even so, as her father I beg of you. All I could say was, if you're asking me not to hate or dislike her, then you shouldn't have to worry about that, Barakil-san lifted his head in surprise. A slight smile formed on his face. Yes. That is all I ask of you. I nodded my head to him, seemingly easing his worries. Yeah. Don't worry. I won't. Up until now, I didn't know how I was going to feel about everything. But as I thought, I can't come to hate them. My memories of them are still fond. But that's why it hurts to think that what happened was real. But at least I can promise Barakil-san that I won't hate Akino-san. After we separated from Barakil-san, Shemhazai took me to my personal quarters. It was a very lavish-looking room that I didn't expect to be so sophisticated in a place like this. Sensei must have gotten this room for me especially. I didn't expect that sort of treatment either. I guess I should thank him when I see him. Well then, Hyoudou Issei-san, I'll have to take my leave with this. Enjoy your stay. Yeah. Thanks. Of course. Goodbye then, Dakuin. I was left alone in the big room. I decided to just lie down and rest, since I have nothing else to do. There's a lot in this room. A plasma TV, a nice bathroom, and even gaming systems. There's erotic pictures of fallen angel girls on the walls too. As I thought, Sensei must have picked this room for me, huh? But I don't feel the same feeling I usually would while looking at the pictures. It's almost like I feel nothing towards them. Partner, I'm alright, Drake. Just don't feel like it right now. I think, Shortly after Issei disappeared with Shemhazai, Ravel made her way down the stairs to announce Issei's departure. But there was already someone downstairs, in the kitchen with the rest of the group, informing them. So you see, ma'am, I'm going to be taking care of your son for a bit. Hope you don't mind. In the kitchen, the group of residents who remained home were gathered around the kitchen, along with the mother of the household who Azazel was speaking to. No, Azazel-san, don't worry about it. I have heard many things from the children about how great of a sensei you are. I'm sure you'll take care of our Issei. Would you like some breakfast? We have plenty left. Issei's mother smiled as she offered Azazel breakfast. He waved it off courteously. No, that's fine. Thank you. I've had my fill before coming here. As he politely declined what was offered to him, Azazel's eyes caught the form of Ravel approaching the area within his view. Ravel. There you are. Has Issei already taken his leave? Yes, he has. The group of women completely deflated into attitudes of guilt and despair. That man was gone. I see. In that case, Mrs. Hyoudou, would you kindly allow me to speak with the girls privately? There's a matter I must discuss with them as their sensei. Why, yes, of course. Excuse me. Mother Hyoudou excused herself from the group and walked off somewhere into the residence, leaving Azazel to speak with the women. So, as you've heard, Issei is now gone. Shemhazai should have escorted him to Grigori by now. It seems you did not have enough time to realize what was necessary. Did you at least reflect on your actions? He asked while looking around. Every member he met eyes with averted their gaze. Rias did not meet his gaze because her head was lowered in despair. The last person he met eyes with was someone who did not avert her gaze, but rather stared him down with a stern expression. Ho? It looks like you have something to say, Aquino. Aquino stepped forward while she became the center of attention. Azazel. You said you had your suspicions about what it was that caused Issei-kun to turn out this way. But that's not true. You know exactly what it is, don't you? Azazel only looked back at her with a face of disinterest. That may be so. Who knows? Whether I do or don't doesn't matter. I already told you lot to figure it out for yourself, didn't I? Aquino's gaze hardened. Nonsense. The only reason you don't want to tell us is because it's your fault, isn't it? She glared at him. But Azazel met her gaze with a chillingly stoic expression that exuded authority. Watch your tongue, brat. I wasn't going around telling you that all of this was your fault, was I? Aquino quickly lost her hateful expression and averted her gaze ashamedly, quietly backing down. Azazel could only sigh heavily in response to the attitudes of the group members. Ha! Well, I suppose you saying that means you know then. No point in keeping it from you. The group of girls all collectively lifted their heads to look towards Azazel in anticipation. The reasoning behind this disaster would finally be revealed, and Azazel spared no hesitation in explaining it to them. Many months ago, I suspected there was a certain sacred gear user who had not yet unlocked his power. The sacred gear wielded by this possessor seemed to be extremely powerful. Being the cautious man I am, I decided to send my loyal subordinate to observe said possessor. However, that proved to be a mistake. I didn't realize the ambition and foolishness of my subordinate. Because of that, she gathered together her allies and stole a very important piece of technology to further her own machinations, for the purpose of glory. The group recognized this story, though they did not understand why it was being told to them. With her allies and technology, she moved her little plan into motion. Rather than a simple observation, as per my orders, she foolishly brought matters into her own hands. She took the life of the possessor, and used the device she stole to steal another sacred gear for herself. She practically risked war between the two factions only for her own selfish ideals. What a foolish subordinate! What a foolish superior I was to not realize it, even when I had my suspicions. Azazel let out another guilty sigh, and Rias asked him hesitantly, Azazel, why are you telling us this? Azazel shook his head, as if truly, utterly disappointed. Rias, that subordinate of mine. She was scum. For her own selfish ideals, she took the lives of innocent people and became a traitor to that which she convinced herself to be loyal to. In the end, she was nothing but scum. But out of all the crimes she's ever committed, the one that brings me the greatest regret and contempt is the crime of the manipulating and killing of children that became my precious students in the future. Her death was just. But it was not final. A strong sense of unease began to fill the group of girls, as Azazel's tone became somewhat more foreboding. Her worst crime, which has effects that have not yet disappeared, was the crime of luring an innocent human into her worthless trap. Her disgusting method of twisting a human boy's heart into her grasp and then ripping it from his body to bleed onto the floor. That heart was then forced back into his body without being mended, and he was pushed into a world that he didn't understand. As time passed, his skin grew thick like armor and covered his heart well, but that was only for himself. In the end, the armor that kept his heart from being torn out also barred anything or anyone else from entering. This did not bode well with his allies. They criticized him for his inability to coact himself to them. The boy, for the sake of himself, could not move himself in the direction drawn for him. His armor dented and caved in on itself. It crushed his heart. Do you recognize this story? If you do, you know that the last parts are not fully accurate. Rather than his armor crushing his heart, the boy is now using his armor to guard him from the spirit that haunts his heart. His journey from this point on will involve the fight to destroy that spirit. Until then, his mentor will lead him through the sea of fear and pain so that he may return greater than ever before. To all of Azazel's cryptic speech, the group members had no words to respond with. Poetic, isn't it? I have a knack for being dramatic like this, you know? They had no response to his story, nor his false enthusiasm. He quickly regained his serious attitude and stared them down. The spirit that haunts that boy. You understand now, don't you? Because of this spirit, the road ahead, no. There was no road ahead. There was only a chasm with an oasis across the other side. It was now all about whether he could make the jump across. With the encouragement of his friends strengthening his will, he could make the jump, maybe even with ease. But that didn't happen, did it? Instead, they ridiculed him. You can't walk even this far? How horrible. They said this without the knowledge of the deep canyon set before him. It was one they could not see from their angle, nor did they consider that it could have been there in the first place. The edge of the cliff the fool stood on began to crack under his weight, and caved in from beneath his feet. The only thing holding him up were the hands of his mentor, and suddenly, an unexpected young girl. Do you recognize this story? If you do, then you know, it is not a story. There was an unbroken silence for what felt like many decades, in the minds of the girls. Yet, it was only mere seconds. Azazel stood from his chair without opening his eyes to them. I'll leave with that. But just so you know, we will pull him up from that cliff and prop him on his feet. And when he makes that jump across, and he will, we'll make sure of that, it will be only up to him whether he will walk towards you, or past you. Azazel started to walk out of the kitchen, most likely to teleport himself away, leaving the group speechless and dumbstruck. Before he could fully exit, one of them stepped up silently. Rhea stepped forward weakly, with her body slouched and the puny energy of a ghoul. She called out with what little strength she had and reached out with her arms, as if to hold something. Azazel. Wait. Please. Let me say I'm sorry. Please. Just let me say it, to him. Just once. I beg you. Azazel stopped in his tracks, and spoke without turning. I'm sorry, Rhys. It hurts me to say this, truly believe me when I say that it does, but I can't allow that. You lot are all still kids. And Issei is too kind. If I allow you to do such a thing, he will easily forgive you, and you will all soon forget. But you will learn nothing. None of you will. And Issei will not ever take that jump. So, for your own sake, realize that if I don't do this, you, as well, will never reach him yourself. Take care of her, Aquino. Azazel walked out with those last words. Rhys dropped lifelessly to her knees. Rhys Onissima. Asia ran to Rhys's side, but there was no response. She gave no response for a very long time. Issei, I've been lying down on this bed for about 30 minutes. Sensei must have still been doing things. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be waiting for him at all. Maybe he's just not coming today. Knock, knock, knock. Just as I thought that, the door was knocked. Ah, yes? The door opened. Of course, it was Sensei. Yo, Issei. Sleeping, HM? No, not really. Just thinking, I guess. Issei. Sensei took a seat on the side of the large bed. Did you tell them, HM? Oh yeah? I told them. I told them everything. Everything. That means, yeah, that too. Naturally, I see, we became silent. There's something I still want to ask him. Another question which has been haunting my mind. Sensei. Yeah, what is it? Yesterday, I had a thought. What if, when I was going to be killed? What if it was meant to be? Because if I died, they could take me. What if it was something they let happen? If that's true, then he interrupted me. Don't be ridiculous, I see. There's no way something like that is true. I felt like the tension in my body immediately released, even though my doubt is still there. But I was. They gave me. Calm down, I see. I understand how you came to this conclusion. I get it. I see how you can misunderstand such a thing. But you need to calm down. Try to think of it rationally. When you were revived, were all of your wounds healed? And no. Oh, of course not. Exactly. So do you think, if you had been ripped in half, she would have been able to revive you? What if your body was completely eviscerated? What if there was only a head or a hand left? What if there was no head? What if you were burned alive? What if she took you away? What if you were turned into a pool of blood? You think she would just allow a random fallen angel to run rampant and kill inhabitants of her territory, even though she has full right to eliminate such a threat based on rules and restrictions of the armistice and the three factions' will to avoid war? It's alright. I know. It's not crazy to think that. But we both know full well it could never be true. So get rid of that thought, yeah? Yeah. Sensei smiled a bit and patted my back. Good. So, how do you like your room? He stood while gesturing to the lavish room with pride. Well, it certainly seems like you picked it. He grumbled in irritation like an old man would. Che. Damn ungrateful brat. I didn't just have this place built specifically for you or anything. At least you could say something about the girls on the wall. He looks away with an AOE'd expression, obviously just trying to lighten the mood. Yeah. They're real nice. He took special notice of my lack of enthusiasm towards the erotica. Of course he did. That was my main trait after all. What's up with that? Not feeling it yet, huh? Yeah. I guess not. I can't feel it at all. It feels like a piece of me is gone. Such a big piece of myself. It almost makes me want to cry. I feel Sensei's hand lightly place itself on my head and start ruffling my hair. Oh, don't go getting like that now. I thought I was talking to the future harem king, huh? Was I wrong? Who's this kid, whoever he is? If he thinks I'm letting him walk around my place thinking he doesn't want a harem, then he's dead wrong. He's getting one, whether he likes it or not, even if I gotta shove him right in his face, ya hear? I could feel my eyes begin tearing up under the cover of my hair again. Yeah, good. Sensei started to walk out of the room. We'll figure out what we're goa do tomorrow. Just rest for today, EY? Yeah, alright. Let me know if you need any more pics for scientific purposes in here. This is a research facility after all. Dakuin. Sensei exited the room before I could answer. Damn irresponsible governor. I lied back in bed and looked up to the canopy above. We'll figure out what to do tomorrow, huh? Tomorrow. What will happen from now on? Scene. Is that so? Yeah. That's the basic gist of it. 5 powerful beings sat quietly together at a table. One had a mane of crimson hair ruling down his head, Sirzex Lucifer. He sat with his hands held together in front of his nose and a complex expression. Another man had long pine green hair and a calculative attitude, Ajuka Beelzebub. The only woman sitting at the table, who usually had a playful attitude, had a bit of a more serious, somber expression, Seraphal Leviathan. The last man, who usually spent his time sleeping, was awake and alert with a look of contemplation on his face, Falbium Asmodeus. The last man sitting at the table was none other than the sensei himself, Azazel. Sirzek's wife, Graphia Lucifuge, stood behind his chair with a stoic expression. I see, that certainly is unfortunate. Surzek said that in a doleful tone. After Azazel had explained everything that occurred between the Gremory group, the mood in the room had changed a bit. It had started as being quite professional in nature, but ended as being somewhat solemn for certain characters. Sorry I interrupted your meeting. I didn't expect you all to be here. Just wanted to talk to Ajuka and Surzek in private, but I suppose it shouldn't make a difference. In the worst-case scenario it would become some sort of news in the underworld anyway. Azazel apologized while leaning back in his chair. No, that's all right, Azazel. It's fine this way. It certainly wouldn't hurt to tell all of us either way. It was merely a matter of convenience. Don't worry about it too much. More than that, this situation is a bit disheartening, to say the least. Surzek sighed lightly. He came to understand the situation quite easily. Thinking about it logically, it made sense how it turned out this way. The Gremory group were just children who didn't always consider the possible ramifications of certain events. Considering their personalities and young age, it wasn't so otherworldly to consider such an outcome. Unfortunately, because they are so young, they aren't to full enough maturity to solve their problems in a more rational or conventional way. Surzek felt a bit ashamed of himself. It wasn't at all his fault, and it hardly even involved him, but he couldn't help but feel it. To think he believed Issei should call him Oni-sama without hesitation. How insensitive, he thought. However, the most conflicting part was the small amount of disappointment within himself, or rather the person it was directed at. It was directed at his very pride and joy of a younger sister. He understood her intentions and why she handled the situation the way she did. He is her brother after all, but even so he felt disappointed in her. Even if it was just by a minuscule amount, the disappointment was still there. And it hurt him so deeply to admit that to himself. He could never have the strength to admit that to his beloved sister because he feared breaking her heart. Even if it didn't, he never wanted his sister to think that she didn't have his full support, especially now which would be her weakest time. He simply didn't have the backbone for it. He sat back in his chair with a bitter smile. Humph, it seems I am not as strong as you, Azazel. HM? How so? He did not answer. He merely gazed at the ceiling vacantly, thinking hard on what should be done. Even if Azazel told him that he would be handling the situation, he still felt it involved him. To be fair, it did from a logistical aspect. At least for the raiding game it did. Serafal spoke some familiar words with a disapproving pout. Mao. Those children. They sure are a no-no. My Sonatan would never allow such a thing. She thinks very hard about her servants' feelings. She thinks very hard about everything. Ryutan needs to think more and feel less. Azazel chuckled. Ahaha. Well, they are children, just as you said. The fact that they came up with a conclusion so based in their emotions instead of critical thinking is to be expected, no? But, even so, that doesn't excuse it. Issei-kun is a nice little boy. He would never want to hurt Ryutan's feelings on purpose. She should know that. She just didn't want to because it wouldn't work for her the way she wanted. As a woman I understand it, but as a master and as an important friend it is a big no-no. She waved her wand cutely as if she was swatting a fly. Surzek fixed back to his original position of contemplation. However, this is troublesome, isn't it? Issei-kun most certainly will be out of commission until he recovers fully, won't he? I myself wouldn't even want to force him to participate or train for the upcoming game in such a state. Considering how close he was with my sister, this has to be a strong blow for him to take, not considering all the others. I'm not sure what sort of consequences it could have, maybe even if it comes to that, it would be the responsibility of Rias alone, as a woman and as a master. Though, I may want to have a talk with my mother. I can't help but feel that she most likely had a great hand to play in this. Rias' impatience is not just her own after all. Only as an adult was I able to control my own that I inherited. But the impatience in Rias seems a little more like my mother's than it should. She always was the one rushing the marriage arrangement between her and Razor. Sigh, what to do indeed? Ajuka interjected. Azazel. Earlier you mentioned irregularities with his gear. Were you able to assess the effects by this point in time? Azazel crossed his arms in contemplation. Well, not entirely, but from what I understand the gear had entered some sort of temporary stasis. It's similar to the moments in which the gear is at a crossroads of sorts, when it is on the verge of reaching the next evolution and the gear becomes practically unusable until it has peaked. However, the problem here is this happened when Issei was in that state. That brings up the question, was it another evolution? Which is unlikely. Or was it the worse option? Could the gear have been reacting in a way that suggests the user would have been subconsciously prohibiting himself from activating a certain mode? By certain mode you mean, yeah. It's that obviously. Ajuka placed his fist up to his mouth. That is worrisome, yeah. Think about how I feel confronting him in that moment. I had tread more carefully than in a long time. In the end I'm sure no matter what I would have done it wouldn't have worked. I still ended up having to resort to force to succeed. It's been a while since I felt so incompetent. Don't berate yourself. We've avoided a catastrophe. Moreover, what was the impression of his aura? You said it was natural. Yeah. It was heavy. Almost oppressive. Overall it was more like a miasma than an aura. I assumed that it might have been poisonous to normal humans. I still didn't want to take any chances anyway, so of course I kept the kids away. It also had an odd tendency to slide off his body like a smoke. It didn't stick to him like the usual stuff. It just stuck to the floor while it made its way out. That is quite unsettling. Heh. I was the one touching it, you know. Serzex interrupted their intellectually driven discussion. More importantly, Azazel, how is he now? It's been a couple days since the incident, so right now he's okay. He gets constant visits from that girl and he has been trying to train like usual. Although I'm not sure how he's progressing on that. At the very least he's able to use his gear normally now. Well, that certainly is a relief to hear. Do you think any of it is superficial? To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I haven't had the chance to interact with him properly since the day he arrived. I've been more busy than I expected. Luckily, I've been having Shemhazai keep an eye on him, and from what I've heard there doesn't seem to be any signs of deceit towards himself, or anyone else for that matter. It all looks to be genuine. I'll judge it for myself when I see him today, but either way I trust Shemhazai was able to make a proper assessment. Especially since he's usually able to take notice of his interaction with the girl. I see. So Ravel is the only one sitting inside of the comfort zone after all? Looks like it. I don't know if I can say the others have removed themselves fully or not, but the line drawn between them and Ravel is not short. What about the two of you? Not sure. I hope the distance between us isn't great, but I can only find out for myself. Either way, I'll definitely try to keep it from extending. I wish I could say the same. Don't sweat it, Serzex. Issei is a kid just like the others, but he isn't a sins of the father type of guy. He won't hold you up to what they've done, you know. Yes, I suppose he won't. Even so, that only makes me feel more ashamed somehow. I understand. It's the same here. Serzex sighed once again. This certainly has turned out to be quite the hefty topic. Yeah, for a bunch of kids they sure know how to give me a headache. Shouldn't that be what kids are good at? Never mind then. Grafia. Serzex called out to the maid behind him. She stepped forward. Yes, Serzex-sama? Go check on Rias. This certainly couldn't have been easy on her. I'm sure she'll need some support, and I don't think we should try to dump that burden on the girls beside her in similar states. I'll try to visit her if I can, but for now let's just see how she's doing. Maybe some encouragement will do her well. Yes, Serzex-sama. She stepped back to teleport herself as the rest continued their discussion. So what do you suggest we do, Azazel? Personally? I want the game cancelled. But that's too drastic an outcome. It may just be because of my own shame, or subtle fear of what can happen, but something compels me to give that opinion. Who knows? It could just be the lingering unease that set in after feeling that aura. Nevertheless, I know that isn't an option. The games between Gremory Bale and Citri vs. Agars are simply much too significant to be cancelled. Not to mention how beneficial they are in the current state of the underworld. This is something that practically needs to happen, so then the next best option would be to postpone the game. Set it back a month or so. It may be extremely inconvenient, but I would imagine it's more satisfactory to the viewers than removing only the security from the game. That wouldn't go over too well. Well, you're correct to assume that canceling the game isn't an option. I'm afraid that's something we simply can't allow. Those future generations are a great key into shaping the future. This is something that should be seen. Postponing the game? That could still turn out to be troublesome. Keeping the Gremory from facing the Bale temporarily would be terrible, but it can explained away quite easily, explaining that the Security would not be able to participate in the game while the rest of his group fight. That is an entirely different issue. The masses would surely begin theorizing to the point of paranoia. The scrutiny would not be light. He's much too popular. Yeah. The media in the underworld is similar to the one in the human world thanks to a majority of the population now being reincarnated devils. They would eat this situation up if given the chance, so it may be worse to just take out Issei alone. That's what I thought. And Issei wouldn't want that either. So all in all, it's the worst option. Solace nodded his head. I agree. That only leaves the question of whether we believe Issei needs that much time or not. I think he does. If not for his recovery, then for his training. I know that even though he is training, his recovery would surely hinder him from making any significant progress when it comes to his training, even if he wouldn't want to admit it. So if I'm being honest, I think we should try our best to give him as much time as needed. But I believe a month extra should do. A month, huh? Solace contemplated silently for a minute. Ravel commented meanwhile. More time, huh? So Issei really was in a bad state. I can't allow this. That just won't do. No. Since it's come to this, I shall take matters into my own hands. I shall visit Issei as the magical girl Leviathan. With the wave of my wand I shall heal his heart of any wounds. Even the mere sight of Leviathan will have him fawning over her, and in love with women again. Gasp. Oh no! But if I do that, he will only end up falling for me instead. That would be really mean to Riatan and the others. You. Being a magical girl is difficult, Azazel laughed lightly. Hee. Well, the Princess of the Phoenix is one thing, but having the Mao of Leviathan at Grigori might be problematic in a few ways, you know? Ravel turned to Azazel in shock. Really? Solace, who had been thinking critically up to this point, finally sighed for the last time as he brought himself back into the conversation. All right. I'll see what I can do. I'll discuss our options with the House of Bale. Though it shouldn't be very difficult to convince Serorg himself. I'd imagine he would not want to experience the rating game without the Security Issei in attendance. I'll also have meeting with the organization in charge of arranging the games to inform them based on the conclusion we reach. Azazel nodded his head in agreement. Good. We both know that this is for the best. I'm sure Issei isn't the only one who will need recovery time at this point. Yes, I suppose he isn't now. Azazel stood from his seat. Well then, I'm off. I won't interrupt your meeting any further, so go ahead and continue where you left off. I might as well visit Issei now that I have the chance. Let me know when you've finalized the details behind everything. He began waving his hand back as he walked out of the room. Ajuka quickly addressed him before he exited fully. Notify me should there be any irregularities with his demonic powers. I may have to assess the state of his evil pieces. Yeah? He exited the room, leaving the four Mao to themselves. Falbium called out to Solace, who had a distant look in his eyes. Solace, honestly, how troubling. Part 2, I see. I sat in an empty space. A training space prepared specifically for myself within the facility. Meditating. Still meditating, Issei-kun? A familiar voice called out to me. I opened my eyes to greet him, but there was no one there. Issei-sama. HM? From far behind me I heard someone calling out to me. This time it was real. That voice. Looks like my visitor has returned. Sigh, you seriously come too often, Ravel. I said that as I stood up and turned around. Sure enough, there she was. Ravel was waving happily while rowing towards me with something wrapped in cloth in her hands. The moment she reached me, Hey Ray-voof! She jumped into my chest excitedly. Issei-sama. I have missed you. Yeah? Nice to see you too, She was holding on to me. Calm down. It's okay. It's just Ravel. She's not going to do anything wrong. Right. You trust her, don't you? You said you'd put your trust in her. You have trust her fully. No more fear. It's okay. I'm okay with this. I wanted to reciprocate her hug, but after a few seconds she realized what she had done and pulled herself back while frantically waving her arms around. Her face was as red as a strawberry. I am sorry, why? No, it's okay. I guess. Ravel just hugged me. Usually I would have immediately felt her ass touching against me. But, did I just not notice it this time? So what's that? I pointed towards the box-shaped item wrapped in thin cloth she held in her hands. She glanced down at it, then made an expression which looked like she was gathering her courage. She bowed her head as she held out the item to me. Ahem. Please accept this wrapped bento box as a gift from me. Oh, it's a bento box. I see. So she made me one, huh? Well, it is lunchtime, I suppose. Thanks. I'm really grateful. I gladly took the bento from her hands. We stood there for a couple seconds in silence. She fidgeted nervously as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. Would you like to join me? She looked up at me excitedly with a bright smile. Why, you don't mind? In that case, please allow me to join you. Yeah, it's fine. I couldn't help but find her enthusiasm adorable. We sat down together on a little bench to the side of the large training room. Issei-sama has been training very hard, hasn't he? She says that while taking a look at the place. Yeah, I guess so, huh? There's quite a few scorch marks and broken sections of floor. I'm sure if this place wasn't as tall as it is, I would have broken parts of the ceiling as well. It's well designed and the construction is good, but it has terrible atmosphere. It's too scientific looking and not in the cool sci-fi way. There's no color, and despite being normal temperature, it feels like a cold and damp place. Maybe it's just because I train alone. He's been trying really hard, all by himself. She said that sadly while holding her knees. Yeah, I really don't like it much myself, being alone. It's the one thing I've always been afraid of. But, gulp, I still have Ravel, right? I said that a bit hesitant while averting my gaze. I don't usually try to say things like this. Showing this much of myself, it's scary, but I have to keep trying. Her face slowly brightened up. Why, yes. Yes. Of course. It is just as Issei-sama says. Even if there is no one else, Ravel will still stay by Issei-sama's side. No matter what. Aha, I could feel the breath of relief being released from my lungs. Was I holding my breath just now, haha? I see, haha, thanks. Oh, of course. I will always support Issei-sama. And if it is alright with you, I would like to stay by his side. FF forever. I couldn't hear her last words because she mumbled them, but I think I got it. I did ask her to stay with me, isn't that right? Why, yeah, that's fine. It's best if you stay by my side. Just like I said. She squirmed excitedly in her place. She looked like she was cheering happily for herself on the inside. Well, I may not have fully heard what she said, but if it's Ravel, I'm sure it's nothing bad. It's okay to think like that, right? That's how I want to be able to think. I decided to open the bento box. A beautifully decorated arrangement of well-made food. Also very organized. Just like Ravel. There's even a little compartment on the bottom of the box that has some dessert in it. Yep. This is Ravel, all right. I can see her looking up at me expectantly from the corner of my eye. Well, no point in keeping her waiting. I use the chopsticks to pick up some of the meat inside. There's a heart in the rice, haha. I put the food in my mouth. Munch. This is delicious. Just as I thought, even with all of the extravagant meals being served to me here, it still doesn't beat Ravel's cooking. I immediately voiced my opinion. I can't help it when it comes to food. Or women or that's what I thought, but lately, is that so? Well, of course. It was made with love after all. Made with what? I couldn't hear you since you whispered it. And then nothing. It is nothing to worry about. She is acting unbelievably nervous about something. She whispered and stuttered a lot that she made this with something special. Well, I'm sure whatever you made it with, it wouldn't have been the same without it. Of course. Everything I do for Issei-sama's sake is out of Ahem. Be because of such a thing. Because of such a thing? Wait, so it wasn't some sort of seasoning that she was talking about? Partner. Oh Drake, what's up? Previously you had asked me to assist you as much as I could when it came to your recovery. Isn't that right? Yeah, I did. You don't mind, right? Not at all. Rather, I've decided this is where I should start. Oh, I will be blunt, partner. My question is, don't you believe that is enough? Huh, it's enough, isn't it? That willful ignorance of yours. Enough foolishness, partner. You can never solve a problem you do not confront. Do you intend to continue ruing from that which you are afraid of understanding? You're right. You're right, Drake. I don't know exactly what Ravel said, but I'm not that stupid. I just don't want to admit that it could be true, pretending I don't know what I do. I'm still afraid. That won't do. I can't go on like that. I won't make any progress unless I really try. And up until now I've just been fooling myself into thinking that I've been trying. But I always kept that peace untouched, just to protect myself. How pathetic. Do not be ashamed. Be better. Yeah, I know, for Ravel's sake. Ravel. I gathered up my courage and called out to her. She looks a bit worried thanks to my serious tone. I took a breath to calm my nerves. I looked her straight in the eye as confidently as I could. I want to thank you for everything. Thank you for staying by my side. I think I'm slowly starting to understand how you feel. And, even though I'm not good at this sort of thing, if you try, I'll try. I see, Sama. She stares at me a bit longingly. Ahihi. I'm not sure what to do now. We're kinda just staring at each other. But, should I get closer? Oya. So Ravel's come to visit, huh? Kia! Ravel and I jumped back in terror at the sudden appearance of the man approaching us from ahead. It's Sensei. HM? What's up? Did I interrupt something? Ravel and I glanced at each other but quickly looked away. And no, he smirked. Well, it certainly doesn't seem like it. I grumbled a bit. He came to lean against the wall beside our bench. Have you finished your discussion with the Mao-sama, Azazel-sensei? He nodded his head to Ravel's question. Yeah. All of the Mao ended up being in attendance. But even so I was able to discuss it properly with them. All of them. What did Surzek-sama say? He turned to me darkly. He wants to kill you. Ha 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 ha. Just joking. That's not Fui. His serious attitude returned. No, don't worry. He understood. He's an adult and a leader after all. He has that level of critical thinking. He understands both sides, but as of now his alliance sides with you. He understands how much of an effect this has on you. Even though he's worried about Rias and how the public might react, he knows your recovery takes priority over it. Is that so? So what does that mean for the game? I'm not entirely sure, but if I'm being honest, my best guess is the game will be delayed for another month. Delayed? 2 months from now? I should have seen that coming. How will the public react? All of my young fans. That's a long time, and it's all my fault. Don't blame yourself, I see. If you are at fault, then those who put you in this situation are much more at fault. I guess so. I decided to ask Sensei a question that's still been lingering in my head. Ravel wasn't here for the other conversation I mentioned this topic in, but if I want to trust her fully then I should be able to mention this. There's still something that's been bothering me since the other day. It's about the time I died. If Butcho didn't want me to die that day, why didn't she just have me followed? Kaneko-chan followed me at school sometimes. So, why not just watch me for that day? A few reasons. I would imagine that Rias believed the fallen angels in her territory were on official business. Technically they were. Rainier was sent personally by me, so in a way she was like a diplomat or representative of sorts. So it would have been quite troublesome if something happened to her. Even if I would have wanted to avoid war, surely my allies and subordinates wouldn't let her death go unavenged. The tensions really were too high at the time. No matter how you look at it, the only way it would have turned out alright would be if she had substantial evidence to take them down. She didn't get that until you died. That doesn't really mean that she waited for your death as proof, but merely that she couldn't act on suspicion alone. My side most certainly would not have accepted suspicion as an excuse for killing someone I sent on an observational mission personally. But that still doesn't answer why she didn't follow me that day just in case. Or why they handed me a summons slip. The slip was just an obvious failsafe. The next part? Lack of foresight. Rias is still very naive and inexperienced. It was only her second year managing her own territory. Not to mention, everything that she's eliminated from under her jurisdiction were just brainless killer strays. Those who had already forfeited their lives and weren't accepted by any side. She must have just assumed that it was more likely Lernaean would recruit you, not kill you. It makes sense if we consider your personality, and fallen angel's talents, for seduction. It would have been an easy win for us. But wouldn't Bucho have known I had a sacred gear at that time? Maybe. But there's no way she could have expected it to be anything amazing at her level. I was the only one who had suspected it could have been a Longinus. It's why I had you observed in the first place. I didn't need you going berserk. I'm sure Rias didn't have any suspicions about you having such a powerful gear. I'd imagine that at the time of your revival she was troubled by the fact that you died, since she would now have to use her pieces to revive you, since she felt partly responsible. But I can guess those worries faded away when she realized even 7 pawns wasn't enough. Ayano, Ravel interjected. I'm not sure what is going on, but somehow it has to do with Issei-sama's resurrection. Ah, yeah? Issei here has been worried about the circumstances surrounding his death and revival. His mind ended up conjuring up some weird conspiracies when he was unstable, and he ended up convincing himself that his death was possibly played, or something similar. Ravel became shocked. What? That couldn't possibly be true. Issei-sama. I understand that Issei-sama was afraid of what happened, but please believe me, Rias-sama would never do such a thing. Rias-sama is dash. She would never. I smiled awkwardly. Ah, no, I know, Ravel. I get that now. I was just worried at first is all. But I'm better now, so I can think more clearly about the situation myself. It's just like Sensei said, the possibility of Bucho doing such a thing is really low. It would make more sense if she just asked me herself. I wouldn't have said no if she explained the part about peerages and having my own harem. None of the pieces really fit well for anything like what I was thinking about. So it's fine. She relaxed her posture. Is that so? I just nodded my head. Yeah, Buck, she wouldn't have done that. Rias Gremory wouldn't have done that. Rias wouldn't have done that. You are doing well, partner. I am proud of you. Thank you, Drake. So I see. Sensei snapped me from my mind again. He was looking at me curiously. What are you going to do from here? Well, you aren't going to just sit around, right? I'm sure you'll still want to train while you recover. Train your body and your mind will follow. The simple way out has always worked out for simpletons like you. So, now that you don't have your usual training method to rely on, what do you plan on doing? I haven't thought of that. Surely I can't just train by myself like this. I won't make a lot of progress. So then how should I train? Where would I even think to start? Think hard, partner. Think of how you have trained before. Your previous evolutions in strength. What do they have in common? How I've trained before. The first time I properly trained was before the Razor match, but I didn't go through any significant changes. The next time was with Tainasan, but I still didn't achieve balance breaker like I was supposed to. After that I just trained with Kiba and we became stronger together, so I'm not really sure what to do. Wait, Did you notice that, partner? What? Remember the times you became stronger? When did you experience all of those significant changes? Your evolutions. When did they happen? My evolutions? Let me think back to it. Okay, the first one was when I unlocked my gear the first time. That was against that one fallen angel Calwarner or something. She tried to attack me and I spawned the gear as a twice critical. Yes. Keep going. Then when it finally became boosted gear was at the time of Asia's death. I was enraged and used the newly unlocked boosted gear to defeat Lernaean. Think back to all of your evolutions. What is it that they all have in common? Something in common? Continue listing them. Okay. Next was the second liberation thing. That happened during the match with Razor, and after that I had gained the ability of gift. After that it took few months until the incident with Kokabeel. Then I powered up and had that last evolution before balance breaker after B-. Arias told me I could suck on. Well, it happened that way. Then I finally reached balance breaker in the fight with Kuroka. And just recently I obtained illegal move Triana in Kyoto. Yes. Think, partner. What is it that every single one of those evolutions have in common? When did they occur? They occurred. I realized it at that moment. Drake. Those evolutions . They all happened while I was in battle. Of course they did. In order for such an evolution to happen, like balance breaker, a significant change must occur from within the user themselves. Practically all balance breakers are unlocked through perilous events. In the end, your training only served to prepare you for the next evolution. It did not help you reach it in the first place. Of course. How could I miss something so obvious? Even if I reached a few of them through perverted ways, there were still a couple I reached in a perfectly normal way. Through hard-fought battle, my conventional training didn't help me reach those levels. Drake, are you suggesting? I am, partner. The greatest mentor is experience. Kokabeel. Tane. Chow Chow. Heracles. Phoenix. Loki. These names, they are not the names of the meek, or benign. Are they? I quickly stood up from the bench. I turned to Sensei. Sensei. HM? He raised a brow to my actions. The greatest mentor is experience. Who? He smirked at my determination. I'm not sure if he knows exactly what I'm thinking, but is that so? Humph. I prefer near-death experience. That shouldn't worry you, right? He gave me a sly smile. Sensei really is a genius. He gets what I'm saying already. Looks like I'm going to have to use my coactions to get you what you want. If that is what you want. He finally brought himself away from the wall he was leaning against and stood in front of me with his hands in his pockets. You may want to write me a list. I'm not a mind reader, you know. So wherever it is, whoever it is, make sure it's not something impossible. Well, it might be close. He chuckled slightly before bursting out laughing. Hee hee, nah ha 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 ha. So I guess I'm right. As I thought, you and Vala may be a little more similar than I thought. So Vala had a similar idea? That's a battle freak for ya. Alright then. Let me know when you have it ready. I'll cross out any names or places you can't get to. Hopefully there aren't too many of them that will kill you for sure. Or maybe hopefully. Who knows, haha. He finished while waving and walking away from us. Ravel was tilting her head cutely from beside me. Multiple question marks floated above her head. Issei-sama? What is going on? What do you plan to do? I turned fully to her. Ravel. As a devil, there aren't actually that many battles I have lost compared to those I have won. My ratio is pretty high. Eh? I suppose so. Well, I'm probably about make that ratio go way down. Eh? She cutely tilted her head again. I guess I am being very cryptic. Ravel, don't get too worried when I explain this. But how many enemies have I fought that are stronger than me? Issei-sama? 2, Part 3, Kiba. It was a normal day in the clubroom. Everyone was in attendance as usual. But the atmosphere is dim. There is no enthusiasm, no life, in this room. That is because the pillar of the group is no longer present. Issei-kun is no longer here. Just a few days ago, the morning after the incident in the clubroom, Sensei explained it to me. Most of the other club members had decided to not attend school that day. Gasper and I were on our way to the clubroom when I received a phone call. I answered, and the one who explained the situation to me and Gasper was Sensei over the speakerphone. So as a result, I will be taking Issei with me to Grigori. Take some time to reflect on your actions. I won't be harsh, but just think about what I'm about to say. For the women of the group, I understand the situation, even if I don't agree with their methods, but as a brother in arms you have no excuse. You are a man, aren't you? Stop hiding behind your facade of righteousness if you're just going to double back on it the moment it suits you. You aren't a woman. You don't have the excuse of acting on your emotions the same way they did. Don't act as if you truly understand the situation when you don't. The fact that you don't question things beyond the surface level only solidifies the fact that I have failed as a sensei. Let's take this time to reflect on ourselves as men. That goes for you too, Gasper. Both of you. Till later then. I won't be harsh. Those were the harshest words Sensei had ever given me. I was scolded. It hurt my pride, and worst of all, Issei-kun is gone, and there is no light left in the club. Sheen! Just as I was thinking of a metaphorical light, a physically bright light flashed in the clubroom. A familiar magic circle. It's Sensei. Bucho stood up from her desk. Her eyes are tired and look like she hasn't slept well at all these past days. There was almost no life in her until the magic circle showed up. I see, she whispered silently, but I already know what she said. Yo, I'm back, brats. Sensei appeared and casually greeted us. He was alone. Ah, Azazel. Bucho slumped back into her seat while the small amount of light in her eyes faded away. HM? What's with that reaction? What's with this atmosphere? Not happy to see your sensei? None of us in the room answered. We didn't even make eye contact. Humph. Well, no point pandering. I've come to give you an update. Some of us lifted our heads hopefully. Bucho whispered again. Update Issei? No. On the rating game, of course. We lost what little hope we had. Bucho slumped back in her chair again. I've talked to Surzex, and the rest of the Mao as well, but the decision has not been finalized yet. All of the Mao? Yeah. Bucho lowered herself ashamedly. To believe that all the Mao know about this. Anyway, the most likely outcome, the game will be delayed. Until the next month. 2 months from now. Delayed? Yeah. 1 month for recovery and 1 month for training. For you guys at least. Not sure about him. Bucho asked him expectantly. How is he? HM? He's better. He'll get better. With the support he has, I'm sure of it. Much faster than you guys at least. He's already progressed little by little. I'll see how he goes on with it. I'll keep checking in on you guys too. So, he's getting better from what happened. Or better from his heart as well. How far does that better go? Well, I would like to stay longer. But unfortunately I'm going to have to talk with Shemhazai. I may be a little busy setting up some things for that boy, so he'll probably have to take my place in certain things. That was all I really had to say. Better to say it in person. He already was preparing to leave with only that one announcement. Arguably one that none of us really cared about at this point. He stopped right before he left, and gave us a serious look. One more thing. Even if it doesn't seem like it, I know you guys will get better. But along with recovery may come other negative perspectives. When you start to feel better, or even just so you can feel better about yourselves, things like resentment may start to settle in. That may end up being redirected to someone who doesn't deserve it, only because it gives you a target. An outlet. You get what I'm saying? That person, the support system that he is currently relying on, I won't allow you to feel about her in such a way. Acting as petty children has its limits. You don't have the right to start thinking of her that way. Understand? No one answered. I understand what he is saying. That is his message to the women of the group. Certainly it would make sense for them to start feeling that way, since she is the only one who gets to see him. Alright then. I'm out of here. Don't worry, I'll come back again, of course. Watch over them, Rosweiss. Yes, Sheen. He teleported himself away, leaving our group in silence, as it has now become usual. Lucy here, so yeah, here we are. Time to bring back what is arguably one of my more anticipated stories. I can definitely understand why so many people would be antsy on what happens next in this story since, unlike most other stories, I won't be completely skipping over Issei's emotional and physical developments. Also, just a little self-advertisement here, but have you read my story The White Dragon Emperor of Magic? I would hope that you do. I don't usually advertise my stories aside from a simple check out my others, but I've honestly become so unbelievably proud of what that story has become, and what it will become. It is truly the greatest story I have ever written in every aspect. It has become my own little masterpiece, my personal magnum opus. So much led up to the latest chapter, 16, and it all paid off beautifully. That chapter alone elevated this story to a higher level, and it will only become greater from that point on. It sparked a new fire of passion for all of my writing and is definitely the best chapter of any of my stories, I think. And pretty much everyone seems to agree since I've received the most reviews for that story. They were all positive, and started gaining followers and favorites like crazy. I'm not surprised. That chapter really was phenomenal. Anyway, for any of those thinking that the story has been moving along a bit slowly, don't worry. This is where it picks up. So for the action junkies, yes, there's gotta be some action here. Real action. So I suggest you listen to some God of War soundtrack for later. 'Cause it really fits the feeling of epic battle. Besides, there's a good reference to God of War 1 in there. LOL. Any of my fans know that I'm a fanboy when it comes to GOW. It's just my favorite depictions of Greek/Norse mythology. All that aside, let's move on to this story. I own nothing but the story. Albion speaking, thinking, Drake speaking aloud, Albion speaking aloud, scene, so I'm afraid, we're requesting it to be postponed. Is that so? Humph. What nonsense! Something of that mare does not concern us. You may be the Mao, Surzex-sama, but to request such a thing of the House of Baal is nothing but insulting. Serorg, we are denying his request. Very well, Surzex-sama. I accept. Wadash? Serorg. Do you not heed my words? Indeed I do not, father. This is a request from the Mao. To deny it only because of some worthless pride is more than insulting to him, as it is to us. Moreover, I refuse to participate in this raiding game without the Security in attendance. I have already promised him a battle. Serorg, you are nothing more than a foolish boy walking in the shoes of an heir. You don't have the right to make such a choice. The final decision does not land upon you. You are right, father. However, that still does not mean that I will participate. Serorg. Do not act so foolish. Merely for the sake of that shameful reincarnated cretin. Do you believe that those actions can't be punished, Lord Baal? Serorg has already made his decision. I had hoped that you would respect that. If not, then I must warn you. Do not forget that I am the Mao. Practically any decision I make is final. I have already spoken with Zikram. He has no qualms with my suggestion and will respect whatever opinion Serorg may have. I respect his decision as well and therefore, I shall perceive it as final. Thank you for your time. N. So you would prefer to suggest your authority in order to overrule me? Simply because it involves your prodigy of a sibling? So your bias is what commands you. How low you have fallen, Surzex. You are free to think that way of me, Lord Baal. But that pride of yours is a dangerous thing. This situation that has befallen the Gremory is more drastic than your feeble mind can believe, and there is an effect that even reaches us Mao, if not professionally, then personally. I will not remind you again that I am still the Mao. My last advice to you will be to watch your tongue. 1. Good day to you both. Part 1. Scribble. It's been a full week since I left home for Grigori. I haven't been having much interaction with a lot of people in my stay here. The only person I really ever spend time with is Ravel. She comes to see me whenever she can, which is pretty often. It's so often that I'm starting to think that she most definitely skips club just to see me. Just because I'm in the underworld doesn't mean I don't know what time it is in the human world. I can calculate it well enough, but even if I couldn't, I'm pretty sure there's devices here that can do it for me. So I can tell when she shows up that it's usually time for club. I wonder what everyone else thinks. I paused from writing the list I was playing to Han-sensei and took out my phone, that I brought with me. Mail, Matsuda, Motohama, Saji, Mum. That's it, huh? Looks like these guys were curious about where I went. I wonder if someone will tell Saji. But that's all, huh? Guess I'm not surprised. Missed calls, 27, Irina 12, Zenobia 5, Mum 3, Kiba 1, Saji 2, Motohama 1, Matsuda 2, Rosweiss 3, Kyomi Abe 1, Unknown 1. Oh, I haven't checked my unread or missed notifications in a few days. I've only been using my phone to talk to Ravel every once in a while. There are many times when she will call me at night to say goodnight. She really is interacting with me whenever she gets the chance. It kinda makes me happy that I have somebody like that, sometimes. When she calls me we talk a little bit too much too haha. But anyway, some of the calls were from people I expected. Are the usual suspects. Probably asking where I went, why everyone is acting differently, where's the porno I borrowed. Saji probably also has similar concerns. I don't know if anyone told him about what happened, but I imagine he found out through Sensei. Sensei still had to explain to Sonakaishu why I was absent after all, so maybe he knows a bit about it. And now he's trying to check up on me, I guess. Mum? Mum is obviously just checking up on me. I'm not sure what Sensei told her as an excuse, but I imagine it's something to do with traveling abroad or something. Maybe Mum and Dad ask me for some souvenirs. Or knowing Sensei, they probably think I'm on some educational escapade. Well, I suppose that isn't too far from the truth. There's a lot of things I plan to learn. I want to become mature. I feel like I've lost so much of my dignity now that all of this happened. I don't have the support I used to. I don't feel the confidence in myself the same way I did before. Every time I think about the crazy and perverted stuff I've done, I kind of feel ashamed, like if I was being laughed at by everyone this entire time, and I wasn't in on the joke. More than that, every time I think about all that I've done, and how hard I've tried to help everybody, I feel so stupid. Was everyone secretly snickering behind my back when I made foolish announcements like, I won't lose? Or a pay? I don't have an answer to that, but I know Ravel wasn't. I know I can trust Ravel. She's always referred to me as Issei-sama. Almost like she's always been looking up to me. Same with all of those children fans of mine. I'm not someone to look up to. I'm a joke. But I don't want to be a joke anymore. I want to be looked up to. I want to be more than just a children's icon. I've been constantly hurting Drake and our reputation as the Security just because I can't be mature. And now that I've gone through this, Drake still helps me without hesitation, even though I don't deserve it. What kind of partner am I? I owe him, but he isn't the only one I owe. What about Sensei? When I was feeling terrible, he showed up and came to my aid without a second thought. He's the only reason I even have the chance to recover in the first place. What about Ravel? She's been visiting me almost every day, talking to me, calling me, making me lunch, spending time with me. It even feels like I'm starting to get over my fear little by little with her. I feel really comfortable with her. I can talk to her about a lot. Actually, now that I think about it, I talk to her a lot about the things I think about and feel. All because whenever I admit something about myself, she usually admits something to me too. I hardly noticed until now. But everybody in the club knew a lot about me because I would always be open about who I was. But there's a lot about everybody else that I don't know. They know more about me than I know about them. I know their birthdays, likes/dislikes, and all the other basic stuff along with some of their previous lives, but aside from that I'm clueless. I've told everybody a lot of my own secrets, but how much have they confided in me? Nowhere near as much. But Ravel is different. She tells me a lot about herself. In fact, she tells me more about herself than I do about myself. And in response I tell her more about myself to reciprocate. Before I know it, we've cycled around secrets and stories to each other until the call we're in is almost 3 hours long. So I've become really comfortable around her. I don't think there's anyone else that I'm comfortable talking with that much besides maybe Sensei. I owe her so much. And that's not it. There are still other people I owe. Like old man Tane. He helped me train to reach balance breaker. In the end, I wasn't able to receive it with him, but instead I got it through the power of a pay. What sort of development could be considered more shameful than that? Especially to him, who accepted the proposal to train me anyway. I even owe Mom and Dad. They've been dealing with my antics for so long even though they didn't have to. Because of all my perverted and foolish tendencies, we've essentially been shooed by our own family. I don't remember when was the last time that we visited a relative or vice versa. All because I couldn't act normal and had to be an embarrassment. 4. I hope that in my time here I can become a person they are proud to have as a son. And most of all, I hope that I can become a security that the world is proud to accept. Well, going back to the call log, I still have some unexpected calls. Irina called me the most. Why? Was there something she wanted to say? She was one of the people who left for school the next morning, right? Was she planning on saying something before I left? Should I call back? No, Sensei told me not to contact them for now. I should leave it be. Zenobia? What is it that she would want to say? She doesn't know much because she is a meathead. Maybe that was a bit harsh, but it's true that she isn't the biggest critical thinker. I don't possibly know what she could say. Kiba? He called once. Maybe he was just checking to see if I would answer. Well, he did get his answer. Ras Weiss-san? She called me too? 3 times. How come? She wasn't really there when that event happened, so I never knew her opinion on everything. But I'm sure Sensei explained it to her, so I assume she knows, especially considering the atmosphere of the club. Could it be that she was checking on me? Maybe I'll call her back at a later time. Kiyomi Abe-senpai? Oh yeah? Didn't I give her my contact info a month or so back? I forgot about that. We don't see each other too often at school since we don't have classes together, but she's the Tease Club leader and a beast tamer. She doesn't know, right? Wonder why she called. HM? What the? Unknown caller? Who could this be? Should I call them back? It could be something important, but who could be trying to call me that I don't know already? Well, no harm in trying, I guess. Dialing. Really, who could this be? Ah, they answered. Hi. Issei-kun? Call ended. Ring ring. Tap. Mao. Issei-kun, that's terrible. Hanging up on a magical girl like that. Leviathan-sama? Hi. Leviathan-disa. I could imagine her doing a peace sign pose. Serafal Leviathan-sama? Why is she calling me? Leviathan-sama. Why are you the one calling me? How did you even get my number? I got it from Sona-tan. Kaicho has my number too? Sona-tan has all of your numbers. Well, she is the student council president. It makes sense to have contact with all of us supernatural students who are allies. But wait, that's not the problem here. But why are you calling me Leviathan-sama? You make it sound like a bad thing, Issei-kun. I could literally hear her pouting. And no. That's not what I meant. What would a Mao like you want to call me for? Mao. Not Mao. Magical girl. This isn't a business call. It's a personal one, eh? A personal call? WY. Are you alright, Issei-kun? Her attitude changed to a serious one. She sounds like a proper adult. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I heard everything from Azazel already, so you don't have to explain it. I just wanted to see if you were alright. I see, yeah? I'm okay. I think. Would you like to talk in person, eh? No. I mean, thank you. You don't have to go that far. I'm okay. I have lots of talks with Ravel, so I don't have too much on my chest right now. Ravel Phoenix-chan? Yeah. Okay. I see. So you're doing alright then? Eating and sleeping well? Why, yes, I am. She sounds more like Mum than a Mao. What about your exercise? My training? Yeah, I'm still kinda training. I can't rely on my usual training regimen since I'm alone now, but I'm currently writing up a new one for Sensei to set up for me. Hopefully it'll work. Is that so? So you are doing okay then? Yeah, I think I'm alright. It's a bit lonely sometimes, but thanks to Ravel I don't feel completely alone. I see. She's a good girl. Yeah. She is. Still, having Leviathan-sama call me just to check up on me, I don't know what to feel about it. No. Leviathan-sama? Serafal is okay. I'm not referring to you as the mouse, so you don't have to address me as such. But that is... I don't think I would have the right to refer to Leviathan-sama in such a familiar way. Since I'm Japanese, I have always thought referring to these types of people with familiarity would be rude, even when they would say it's okay. But if I think more critically about it, wouldn't it actually be a bit more disrespectful to Leviathan-sama if I wasn't as willing to put in courage in saying her name, as she has put in effort to check up on me personally? Then, as Serafal-sama. Hi, she answers playfully. I was tricked. Maybe that was a bad idea. So if someone like you is calling me, I guess that must mean I'm important somehow? She didn't answer. Leviathan-sama? Eh? I'm sorry. It's just hearing you ask me that. I don't like hearing you ask me something so sad. It hurts a bit. I'm as sorry. No. Don't apologize. It's not your fault for thinking something like that. But even still, it makes me sad to hear you ask such a question. I would be the one apologizing. That's the type of feeling it makes me feel. I guess you don't want me to say sorry. No. Please don't, Issei-kun. Oh, okay. But I still feel bad for making you feel like that. Especially for someone like me. I know you do, Issei-kun, that's what makes you sweet. But things like, especially for someone like me, I don't want to hear that. I will answer your earlier question. You are very important, Issei-kun, but I'm not saying this because you are an asset to the devils or an ally to the three powers. You are important to many people, Issei-kun. You have changed and saved the lives of many people. You have done great things. I'm sure many things would not be the same without you. And there are many people you have touched that couldn't imagine a life without you, even if it may not seem like it sometimes. Really? Of course. Even I think it would be terrible if you were not around, Issei-kun. Without you, maybe Sonatan may not be here today after what happened with Kokobile. If that happened, well, I wouldn't be here either. And the Three Great Powers Alliance, or maybe just in general, wouldn't exist. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I don't really think I did much. Issei-kun always does more than he knows. Is that so? Thank you, Serafal-sama. Any time, Issei-kun. Hearing such words from a Mao like Serafal-sama, I'm extremely grateful. It makes me unbelievably happy. Ha! I almost want to cry. Somehow I feel a bit relieved hearing that. I guess I kinda, never mind You're a sweet boy, Issei-kun. Thank you? So, are you feeling a little better than before? Ah, yes. Thank you very much, Serafal-sama. No problem, Issei-kun. You're free to contact me if you ever want to talk again. Well, that's too much of an honor for me. Nonsense. Issei-kun is my friend. He can talk to me anytime he wants. Even if I'm in a meeting. Actually, please call me when I'm in meetings. They are very boring and I would rather talk to Issei-kun while pretending it's something important. Ha! That's wrong, Serafal-sama. But I'm honored that you would call me a friend. Even if I don't deserve it. Mao. What did I say about saying things like that, Issei-kun? You need to have more respect for yourself. You have to love you too, I guess. Okay? Oh, okay. Good. Okay, Issei-kun. I will be going now because I am very busy. But if you want to talk to somebody, let me know, okay? Even if it's at an inconvenient time. Okay, Serafal-sama. Good. Sorry I couldn't visit personally. Let's hang out sometime. I know. Remember when we filmed that movie between Magical Girl Leviathan vs. the legendary Dragon Emperor? Maybe we should do that again, or maybe a crossover episode for our shows. I will talk to Grafia-san. She is your current manager, right? I'll see what we can do. Until then, bye-bye, Issei-kun. Bye-bye. Yay, bye-bye. Call ended. Well, that was quite the exchange. But I'm glad that it happened. Maybe I should call Roswise-san back then. Dialing. Hello? Ah, yeah. Hello, Roswise-san. Issei-kun? Is that you? You called back. I'm sorry. But I didn't expect you to call back at all. Yeah, it's alright, I get it. I didn't call back anybody else from back home, so. I see. Well, thank you for calling me, I suppose. Yeah. So, how is everything? Everything is alright, I suppose. Is that so? Well, how is everyone? They are alright. Really? Yes, well, not so much. Is that so? Yes, they're not as talkative. Not very responsive. There is not much light or happiness there in that room, nor in this house. Issei-kun? Yeah. I'm here. So that's how it is, huh? Yes. How are things for you? Me? I'm alright, I guess. I've still been training by myself, but Ravel visits me really often. But I guess you know that. Ravel-chan? Yes, I'm afraid we know that very well. You don't mean? No. Azazel-sensei has already warned them about doing something like that to her. Everything is fine. Oh, I see. Good. But I guess that means everyone's not doing so well then. Unfortunately not. But I believe they can recover, with time. Yeah, I hope so. So, what are you up to? Eh? Me? WL. I am just grading some assignments. Ah, I see. So you're still working hard as a teacher, huh? As I thought, Rosweiss-sen must be a good sensei. Eh? Why yes, thank you. Yeah, no problem. So then, when do you believe you will return, Issei-kun? I'm not sure. I think the game is going to end up being postponed, so maybe not until then. I see. Yeah. I guess there's not much else to say. Well, I'll quit with the interruption and let you get back to grading, I suppose. Wait. Eh? What is it? Do call back. Just so that I can let everyone know that you are doing alright. Ravel-chan doesn't get talked to by everyone else very often. I see. Alright. One last thing, Issei-kun. What's that? You do not hate them? No. Oh, I see. Good then. I'll talk to you later, I suppose? Yeah. Alright. Goodbye. Bye. Call ended. So that's how it is, huh? I don't know if I can say I'm surprised. Oddly enough, it almost feels like knowing that things are like that over there makes me feel satisfied. I'm such a scumbag. Last on the list. Kiyomi Abe-senpai. Why would she call me? We haven't really talked outside of once after the incident with her dad. That was the second time I stopped an arranged marriage, except this time the dad was a lot more, eccentric. Well, he was a fway fellow to think about. But after that we talked once and she asked for my contact info. I'm not sure why, but maybe it has something to do with me helping her out with her arranged marriage. At first I didn't understand why she acted so oddly around me, but if I really think about it, without the ignorant attitude, it could be. Guess I'll call her. Dialing. Hello? Kiyomi Abe-senpai? Chattin'. I heard some crashing sounds in the background. I could have sworn I also heard some girls calling out her name. It's club time right now, isn't it? It sounds like she was trying to talk away from the phone. I'm okay. Haruka, take over for me. Abe-senpai? Yes. I'm here. Hyoudou-kun? Yeah, I'm here. Hyoudou-kun. It is you. What is going on? Why would you be calling me? Me? That was going to be my question. Why did you call me? Me? I just noticed that you haven't been at school lately, that's all. Huh. But we don't have any classes together. That's dash. You just haven't been around. I haven't seen you at all, when I usually see you around every once in a while. That's all. Oh, so you really notice me that much, huh? What? And no. I just dash. You are infamous, so it's obvious when you are not around. Not to mention that everyone in your club has been acting differently. Yeah, actually, I guess you're right. Of course. Obviously. So then, what is going on? I suppose she wouldn't know. There's not really anybody who would tell her, right? Well, it's hard to explain, but the basic gist of it is, I had a bit of a fight with everyone, I guess. A fight? What? What happened? Well, it's a bit of a personal problem, but the most of the club members and I weren't really getting along well after something happened. So I decided to take a little time away from home. I'm in the Fallen Angels Grigori Institute in the underworld right now. I'll be staying here for almost 2 months, probably. 2 months? That means you'll miss the festival. No, don't worry. I'll come back up for that. After that, I'll come back down and continue my training. Is that so? I see. So that's why everyone in your club has been acting this way. But if you had a conflict with all of them, how do you plan to return for the festival? I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to help out with my club stuff, but I do want to at least attend. Ravel wants me to go anyway. Ravel? Ravel-chan. So you still speak with her? Yeah, she's one of the only members I talk to right now. Maybe with Rosweiss-sen, I guess. I see. Well, I'm surprised that you called me back. I never expected you to respond. I never expected you to call, haha. Hey. Yeah, I definitely see why. Well, anyway, I'm in Grigori right now, so I'll be training until I return for the festival. Alright. I guess I'll see you there? Yeah, I'll check up whatever your club's going on, if you have something on. If not, I'll just look for you myself, I guess. Just to say hi. If that's alright. Yes. Of course. Then I'll see you there. Yeah. You said that already? Okay. I'll see you there then. Is Kiyomi-san talking to a guy? What? No. That's not it. I've gotta go, Hyoudou-kun. Hyoudou? No. You heard that wrong. It's my cousin. Call ended. Well, that was also quite the exchange. I guess that clears up everyone. I'm go a call. I'll call or message Mum later. Maybe Saji too. Not sure about my 2 cohorts. It'd be fway to leave them in the dark, pay back for all the bad rumors they spread about me. I wonder if any more rumors will start because of this. Knock knock. HM? Someone knocked on my door. Yeah, the door opened. It's Sensei. Just the person I wanted to see. Yo, I see. I'm back for a bit. Did you get the things you needed sorted? Yeah. It's finished. Here. I handed him the paper I was previously writing on. He took a pen out from his suit and began crossing some things out. As I thought, there was stuff on there that was impossible to get to, I noticed that he didn't cross out the thing at the very bottom. So he can actually get that. Even though it's kind of against the rules to do so. I suppose he has his ways, After he was done crossing out a few things, he put the pen back in his pocket and reads the list. Quite ambitious, I see. All right. I like your enthusiasm. I suppose we'll start small and build up to the more audacious requests. He began to walk out with that. Give me a couple hours. He shut the door. Wait, we're starting now? Like right now? Wait, I didn't expect to start today. I don't think I'm ready today. I wasn't prepared to get right into it. Give me time to prepare my heart. Speaking of which, what did you even cross out? At least let me check my own list. I spent around an hour in my room alone. I got really antsy and decided to train in the meantime. It was only some light training with some mediation, since I'm kind of afraid of burning myself out before whatever sensei's got me set up for. So as it is right now, I'm just meditating in the center of the field like usual. Every once in a while the clubroom comes into my sight. Everyone's just doing their usual stuff. Eating, playing, chatting, bantering, but then I open my eyes and it's so alone. That's why I don't open my eyes. I don't want to be alone. The person I long for the most. I see, but her face is covered in a muddy haze, and as she releases a distorted voice that sends chills down my spine. Like a bad dream, I feel like I can't look away. I feel so panicked and alone despite being surrounded. I am surrounded. Surrounded by a dark space with laughing faces floating above me. Why me? It's not fair. Why don't any of you help me? Am I just supposed to deal with this alone? Do you just not notice? Is that why you don't turn to face me? It's not fair. I thought I helped you. I thought I did all that I could for you. Did I fail you? Or have you failed me? I see Sama. Right as I heard a familiar voice, my eyes opened. Wah. What happened, partner? Drake? What happened? Were you calling for me? Yes. But you would not respond. For whatever reason, I could not reach you at all. Is that so? Yes. Well, looks like I am starting to lose my mind. You are alright, partner. You will be alright. Yeah, I see Sama. Yeah, I will. I see, I've got it. Someone called out to me. It's Sensei. He's back already? It's only been like 2.5 hours. Oh no, what's with that mischievous smile? Got what, Sensei? HM? One of the things on your list, of course. I've already got some people waiting, so let's get you over there. Wait, what? Come on, come on. Sensei spawns a magic circle and pulls me by my collar to bring me in. No, wait. You didn't even tell me what you picked. Don't worry about that. You'll see for yourself. What did you cross off that list? Only the stuff that would definitely kill you. What about the stuff that comes close? Of course not. Shien. Part 2. Tun. The sound of thunder roared through the sky following a bright flash of lightning. Portside. Portside. Tun. The sky was lit momentarily and thunder clapped again. The harsh sounds of pouring rain and crashing waves. Men shouting orders to each other while pulling on ropes. In other words, I'm on a large wooden ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Overhead, nothing yet. Many of the sailors on the large ship were shouting at each other while they attempted to keep the thing from capsizing any way they could. We're caught in a huge storm. In case you're confused, let me explain. After Sensei kidnapped me, he teleported us to some dock I didn't recognize. He talked to some sailor and left me to get on board some old ship with a bunch of men I didn't recognize who spoke Greek for some reason. Apparently, we made our way off of a dock on a European country and straight out into the Atlantic Ocean. The sailors gave me a coat and we quickly set off. But these men aren't even wearing coats themselves, they're just wearing old garbs. Like if they were sailors from the days of old Greek and Roman empires. When I asked why they were dressed that way, they said it was the greatest way to honor tradition while completing the task. What tradition? What task? Wasn't this supposed to be about me? How come I'm the only one who's in the dark? Aheed! I see it. The sailor who stood on the overlook mast said something. See what? What are you seeing? The captain called from above deck. Everyone! Get inside! Hurry! He's yelling to all of his crew to get inside of the ship down below deck. What's going on? Good luck to you, Security boy. May Zeus shine his favor upon you. What? Shine it? How? The sky is literally nothing but a dark brownish/gray mash of clouds, while the sea is just a dark green body of water. There is no light here to shine. Vuoum! Suddenly, the ship I stood on, which was being tossed by the rocking waves, now seemed like it was being vibrated. As if something was emerging from the depths below. Don't leave me alone here, Captain. Partner. Calm yourself. You can't win if you do not confront every opponent with the determination to win. You asked me to assist you, so I will fix that bad habit of yours. But what the hell are we even confronting? It does not matter. Steel your nerves. Even if faced with an enemy far above your strength, you mustn't hesitate. Think clearly and rationally about how you can win, not about how little of a chance you have in winning. That's literally insane. You are the Security. Madness is in your blood. I'm really not liking the new inspirational drag. It's coming. Just as Drake said that, something began moving beneath the waves, creating small mounds of water that began to rise. Something was emerging from the water. Three things. Just as the thunder clapped and the sky was lit, three large masses emerged from the water. Water fell and splashed on the ship from the three large masses. Two of the masses were exactly the same size, only having heads that were a few meters tall with long bodies extending into the sea. Meanwhile, the mass in between the both of them was much larger than them and had a head more than 10 meters tall. Green scales, sharp teeth, yellow glowing eyes. Drake, what is that? That is a subspecies of the legendary beast slain by the original Heracles for the second of his 12 labors. The only known offspring to the dragon-serpent monster, a Lernaean Hydra. The heads of the three-headed sea serpent finally became visible after letting the water drop from their scales, only being kept constantly wet from the rain. Lightning struck the sky again. The menacing forms looked down on me and released a conjoined roar that blew strong winds and almost sent me back. Mrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr ship. You've got to be kidding me. Welsh dragon balance breaker. I dude my armor and took to the dark skies above the monster. Its vision followed me and it screeched once again. Mrlaruer, Drake. What do I do? Calm yourself, partner. We must think about we know. What? I don't know anything about this thing. What did you spend your time researching that library for? You mean to say that you found the name of a beast without researching its abilities? I didn't research this one. The Hydra I wanted to face was the ones that are on land and are much smaller with a lot of heads. Like the one we saw at the sports festival between the three powers. I didn't think Sensei would place me up against something even worse. No wonder he was snickering. I don't know anything about this one. Calm down, partner. Despite what you may believe, this Hydra is not too foreign in comparison with the other Hydra type. More than that, it's the offspring of the Lernaean Hydra. There is enough that we know. Much that I know. Regardless, it shares many similarities with the conventional Hydra and of course, with its predecessor. Okay. What do I do then? First, mrawa, snap, h. The beast started trying to attack me. It's snapping its heads at me as if it's trying to eat me. Fast. Too fast. This is way too fast for such a beast. Even its largest head is faster than it should be for its size. There's no way I can dodge all of th. Snap! Partner, what if the smaller heads managed to catch on to one of my legs? I could feel its sharp teeth pierce me. It whips me around and then tosses me straight to the deck of the ship. Don. Partner, my leg. It broke through my armor easily and damaged my leg. The moment I tried to touch it, SSS. AG. Partner, it buuris. My leg is sizzling and releasing steam. Partner. A Hydra's saliva is poisonous. It has a venom that can damage many beings. You can't let it hit you with that venom. GGH. My league. It's melting. Aha. Damn it, partner. You have to use it. You can't survive this battle if you do not use Triana. Its speed is too much for you to handle in your current state. But you can't let it hit you either. Its venom and its jaws will easily destroy your armor and cause immense damage. GH. Damn it. Damn it. It hurts. I want to cry so much it hurts. Partner, we don't have time. Focus on the battle. Focus dash. Focus dash. It hurts. Come on, I see. You're a warrior, aren't you? If you don't want to die, then act like it. Rarga. Welsh Sonic Boost Knight. I shouted in pain and my armor began to shine brightly. The armor starts to decrease in size. Sheen. Armor release. Change Star Sonic. The armor changed form, leaving me in a slim aerodynamic version of Scale Mail. The beasts roared when they sensed a change in me and roared, "Mrah! Off the ship, partner! We must fight in the sky above the sea." Jet! I launched myself away from the ship and flew above the heads of the beast. Ugh! My leg still hurts like shit. But I have to deal with the pain later. Right now is the monster. The beast started to attack me again, snapping its jaws at me and spewing venom from its mouth. Drake, give me a rundown. Right. Remember, partner. There are a few traits that most Hydras share. The ability to regenerate quickly, replacing their severed heads with double the heads, poisonous venom, many heads. This beast seems to share the traits of those beasts. Okay, so what's the best way of killing it? We can't sever its heads. If we do, we will have nothing to cauterize its wound aside from your flames. Those flames will not do well in this pouring rain, lest you boost them a great amount, but then your stamina will quickly drain. Not to mention, their long necks are too thick for Ascalon to slice all the way through without struggle. Plus, their blood is also poisonous. What the hell, man? Aren't we at a serious fucking disadvantage? Indeed. But that is where the challenge lies. I assume this is why Azazel would place you up against this beast rather than the traditional Hydra. This is a more formidable foe. I don't care about that shit. This thing can kill me. It could have killed me, partner. I have told you once, I will tell you again, enough foolishness. We do not have the luxury to complain. If this is truly a battle with your life at a stake, then treat it as such. Listen to what I'm saying and consider the possibility of victory through any strategy your mind can muster. You may not be the tactical expert, but you can't move forward as a warrior if you do not develop some skill in it. Do you understand? Alright. What else? Keep telling me everything. Good. This beast is still a Hydra in the end. That means that our greatest asset is Ascalon. We must use it to our full advantage, rather than attempting to damage the Hydra with the alternate forms of Triana, which are too slow. We must use the Night form to strike using Ascalon while also avoiding any attacks. What about its ability to regenerate? What do we do about that? Good, now you are thinking. Fortunately, the only thing a Hydra can't constantly regenerate from is a dragon-slaying power. It is the same situation as with Razor Phoenix. Okay, but then how do I kill it? Isn't it immortal? No, not this one, partner. Hydra are not immortal if killed the right way. Remember the legend. We may not be able to decapitate and cauterize the Hydra, but that is fine. That strategy is not necessary for this Hydra. As long as we kill this Hydra without severing its heads, that's what will matter. Kill it without severing its heads? You mean we can kill it that way? Yes. This Hydra in particular has the ability to regenerate itself, but not in the same way as the conventional Hydra. Because this Hydra naturally is born with 3 heads, it can regenerate its heads when severed and increase the amount, but its regeneration to normal wounds does not function the same. Meaning? In other words, this Hydra is much larger and more durable than the classic Hydra. So their healing of eternal wounds is dependent on their neighboring heads. Basically, in order for this Hydra to heal from any wounds like the ones you will make from Ascalon, it will need the full support of another head to do it. The smaller heads, they are the ones that heal each other. The largest head can't heal the others, but the smaller ones can heal any of the heads. So you will need to kill both of the smaller heads before attempting to kill the largest one. Kill the small heads and then the big one. But without severing the heads themselves. Exactly, but how can I use this little Ascalon to do that? I do not know. We must use it in any way we can. Oh goddamn! Wait a minute! The heads. If I can just jam this into their skulls, then maybe that will do it. Be cautious, partner. Ascalon, blade. I spawned Ascalon in my hand and the beast snarled at me. Okay, here goes. Head number 1, on the left. Here I come, Jet, Siomum. I propelled myself towards the head on the left, and it immediately began snapping at me. I boosted and circled around its body while dragging Ascalon along it and slicing it. Zin 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 zin. Mruh! It roared helplessly as I was too fast for it to catch. But dash! These cuts aren't very deep. As Drake said, these bastards are durable. He's hardly receiving any damage from this. And, snap! Yuwa! The other heads suddenly started snapping at me as well. They don't give me a proper chance to keep attacking the head I sliced. If it wasn't for Welsh Dragon Knight, then I would be screwed. I distanced myself from the heads and floated high above them. Damn! So their skin is that thick, huh? So then I have no choice but to try and drive it through their skull. But if I get close, then all of those other damn heads will snap at me. Think, dash. I've got it. Boost, 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 boost. Transfer. I transferred power into Ascalon and boosted its aura. Let's hope this works. Zin! I chucked Ascalon straight at the head I had been previously attacking with all of my might. It's going fast. Please land in its head. Ascalon flew straight towards the head and, chomp, the bastard ate it? Mruara! The monster roared in pain after swallowing Ascalon. It swallowed it. The damn thing opened its mouth and swallowed the sword down its throat. No, wait. The aura is being released in its throat. Ascalon is stuck somewhere down its throat. Partner, we need Ascalon. We can't leave it with the beast. What do you suggest I do? Partner? I have an idea. Partner. The point of this training is to survive. Oh, I'll survive, hopefully. Jet. Partner. I launched myself at the beast's head. It reaches out to eat me and, chomp. I entered its throat. Partner. I see it. Ascalon. I shoot myself with my jetpack down further into the slimy tight throat of the beast. I can almost reach it. SSSSSSS. Partner. Your armor. My armor is starting to melt and burn off from the venom. Come on. I can reach it. Sheehan. Got it. Ascalon shined brightly in my hand. Just as I pushed against the walls of the beast's throat with my back and Ascalon, the back of my armor starts to receive damage, and I can feel my back burn. SSS. AGH. Partner. Sliced its throat open. I heed Drake's suggestion with no hesitation and boosted power from my jetpack as I forcefully pierced Ascalon through the beast's throat. My whole body vibrates as the powerful roar that was meant to be released outside hits me. But I have to keep going. Rip through this bastard. SBLL. A disgusting wet sound. I finally felt that Ascalon pierced its way to the outside. Now, Jet, Siloam. I boosted myself in an upwards direction while sliding Ascalon along the throat, effectively getting the bastard beast open up to the bottom of its head. SBPLLLGGG. The beast roared in pain as it was sliced open. I stuck my hands through the slice and began to tear myself out slowly. A disgusting noise sounded around me as I slowly pushed through the beast's thick layered skin as if I were rebirthed from it. Rarag, mrah! I finally ripped my whole body from the beast, and it screeched a new screech from what seemed to be pure pain as it spewed poisonous blood. I kept my distance, but the pain in my body set in. Ack! My right arm! My back! Ah! Damn it! They're in the same state as my leg is. They're fucking melting. I will fix the armor, partner. Ahag. It hurts. Fuck. Concentrate. Come on, adrenaline. Enough pain. Just be numb. Come on. Okay. I'm okay. I can ignore it. Look. The body of the beast that I killed is falling into the ocean. Snap. What? The other small head chomped onto the neck of the beast and held onto it. It's holding it up in its mouth for some reason. Partner. You have to kill that head. It's going to heal the other one you split, that's why. It's playing to heal the other head. But how the hell am I supposed to kill it? I can't repeat that strategy. I'm certain that this damage I've taken is permanent, unless I get it healed by someone with Asia's power or maybe Phoenix Tears. But even so, this pain, I don't want it. I can't take this damage again. You have to use anything you can, partner. Use your environment. My environment? I frantically look around to anything that I can possibly use. What can I use? Something that's better at killing than Ascalon? There can't be anything like that around. That other head won't let me throw Ascalon, and I can't take that chance again anyway. Something that can pierce its head. The mast. Well done, partner. Yes, the mast. The mast with the overlook on it. If I can pierce it with that like a makeshift lance or spear. But how? Wait. Chains. There's some chains sitting on the deck that I can use. I can pull the head onto the mast and pierce it with that. Creatively brutal. It will do, but I have to stop the head from healing the other first. How do I get it to stop? Quickly. Use Divide to strike and steal power from it. But that'll shave some of my lifespan. You needn't use much. Just enough to hinder it. It's the only attack you can land that will stop it in its tracks without having to stay near it for long. We will worry about your lifespan later. Shit! The lifespan that Kaneko-chan tried so hard to retu. RRRRGGGGH. Fuck. Jet. Sim. I propelled towards the head that was trying to heal the other, and slammed into its jaw. I immediately built distance, and used the power of the hacker Yuku. Divide, divide, divide. Well, there goes a few decades. The live head dropped the dead one it held in its mouth, and it crashed into the sea. The live head roared at me. Good. It will attack you now. The chains. Right. I blasted to the ship and grabbed the chains. Damn. It's a long and heavy chain. Good. If it's long, I can wrap it around without it breaking. The small head is coming in for an attack. It launched its mouth to bite down on me. I quickly threw the chain into its open jaws and flew around its head. BRCCK. It chomped onto the side of the ship with the chain in its mouth. Perfect. It removed itself while taking a chunk out of the ship. The chain is still in its open jaws, stuck between its teeth. Keep it open, Siloam. I boosted around in circles around the head while wrapping it in chains more and more. Once it was properly wrapped, I pulled both ends of the chains with my hands. I've got a good grip. Mrah! It screeched while struggling against my grip. Damn! It's fucking heavy. I have to keep boosting. Come on! Towards the mast. Siam! With the powerful blast of my jetpack, I was able to slam the head against the mast. BRCCK. I boosted my jetpack until the head slammed into the side of the mast. It cracked under the pressure. I keep pulling, but with this much resistance, how am I even supposed to pierce it properly? Muru! I quickly evaded the giant main head's attack. Its attack ended breaking part of the mast after missing me. The mast was broken, and what remained was a large, sharp, wooden stake from the broken structure. Ha 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 ha. I don't know why, but I unconsciously laughed. You, stupid fucking SNKE, Siomum, Mra. I boosted with all of my power and pulled the head backwards until it slammed straight through the stake. Its head was pierced by the broken mast. I used all of my force and dragged it down until the mast popped out of the skull of the beast. Mra H. Kikai. It struggled with the last of its strength as it was stabbed straight through its brain. Its screeching and twitching stopped when it reached the bottom of the mast. Well done, partner. 2 down, 1 to go. Mra. The last, main head roared at me greater than ever before. The winds of the screech rocked the entire ship back, almost tipping it over and capsizing it from the sheer pressure. Now, little Ascalon is all I've got. How the hell am I supposed to kill this thing? Just as I thought that, something shot out from the sea and lodged itself to the side of the beast's head. Zin! Murrah! What? Something landed in the right side of the beast's head. Something stuck there. What is... a trident? Partner! This is your chance. Use that. Wah! Just out of nowhere. There's no time. If it is there, we will use it. Fucking hell. Jet. Siloam. I blasted to the side of the beast's head and pulled the weapon out. MRH. It screeched at me in rage. This weapon. It's powerful. This type of weapon. It reminds me of the replica of Mjolnir I used back against Loki. No, it's easily even more powerful than the replica. It feels heavy and has a terrifying aura. Use it, partner. Alright. I flew straight at the beast as it glared at me. It snapped at me to chomp me, but I dodged it by a hairline. Its bottom jaw is right next to me. Fuck it. Zien. MRRA. I pierced the jaw of the beast and pushed against it. But it's pushing back against me. It's trying to give resistance. Keep pushing. Siloam. I pushed with all my power until, somehow, I flipped backwards in the air from the physical backlash of the clash. And I heard a loud crack as I was launched away. BRCCK. Mrarl. I quickly tried to adjust myself in midair while noticing that the beast screeched in a different manner than before. When I looked, the lower jaw of the beast. I broke it. It's hanging loosely. It can't close its mouth anymore. Partner. This is it. Finish it with this final hit. Right. Sim. I launched myself high above the beast and floated momentarily. Then, I shot straight down, aiming right on the top of its head. RRRRGGGGGGH. Boost, 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 boost. MRR. I pierced through the beast's head with full force, with my entire body leaving a hole in its brain, and my body splashed into the sea below it. Shpiatin. Splash. Pooh ha. I gasped for air as I lifted my head above the water. The last head finally fell into the ocean, created a wave that almost drowned me. Splash. Ah. The waves died down. The beast floated a bit, but then it began sinking into the depths. It's dead. I killed it? He did it! Wah! I turned to the ship and saw the crew cheering for me. What? Ha 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 ha. Well done, partner. Well done. Truly magnificent. I did it. I did it. Hee. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I did thio it. Whoa. I did it. I actually did it. Whoa, Ha 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 ha. Ah, my body is tired. Ring him in, eh? Ah, the sailors are tossing me some rope. I grab onto it as they drag it back to the ship. Ah, the trident is gone. Where did that come from? Ah, man. I can't wait to tell Ravel. Part 3. Ehehe. Why, yo, Ravel. I ended up returning to Grigori after my encounter to rest, and hopefully heal, but I somehow ran into Ravel, who was waiting in my room. Now I'm facing her in tattered clothing, half-melted body, while being lent a shoulder by a fallen angel. She was standing there with a blank face that said she hasn't fully processed it. Rave, Issei Sama. She ran to me without hesitation. She had an extremely concerned expression. Issei Sama. What is going on? What are these wounds? Your leg. Your arm. What has happened? It's a bit difficult to explain. I rubbed the back of my neck as I struggled to stand on my own. The fallen angel left us alone and Ravel helped me limp to the bed. Issei-sama. Please. Tell me what has happened. Were you attacked? Well, yes, but... I was kind of asking for it. What do you mean? Well, remember that thing about my training that I told you about? You know, the one where I fought things stronger than me? Hee hee. I thought you were referring to training with Azazel sensei or someone similar. But I didn't know you were going to train to this extent. What are these burns? She touched my melted parts and flinched. She held her hands over her mouth as tears built up in her eyes. Whoa. Wait. It's nothing serious, really. Well, that's something I can't really lie about. But it doesn't hurt anymore, you know. She shook her head vigorously. She reached into one of her pockets and brought something out. A bottle? Phoenix tears. Here, Issei-sama. Take this, H. Ravel. You're a lifesaver. Holy shit, I thought this was going to be permanent. I took the tears and drank the bottle. It began healing my wounds fully. It tingles. Ah. My beautiful right arm. All back to normal. Ravel was looking at me like she wanted to cry. Sorry? For the first time ever, she shouted at me. This is it? This is what you were playing? You were playing to do something this dangerous? I had brought the tears as a personal gift to Issei-sama because I thought you would only need it once. Something like this dash. Something like this dash. I can't support this. I can't bear to see Issei-sama like this. It's dash. It's too much. I see. So even Ravel can't support me on this, huh? I guess that makes sense. I don't blame her. I'm alone now. Issei-sama? I didn't lift my head to face her. Hee, it's alright, Ravel. Don't worry about it. It's normal not to want to support something like this. I won't hold it against you. You've already done so much for me. Thanks. I kind of feel like crying, haha. No. I lifted my head a bit. I have already promised Issei-sama. I promised that I would support you, no matter what happens, even if it hurts me, even if I'm the only one. I have promised you that I would stay by your side, forever. That's why. She lifted her head fully with a new determination, and tears built up in her eyes. That's why. I will do this as many times as it takes. Even if it hurts me. I will bring Issei-sama as many phoenix tears as I can physically produce. As many as he needs. And if I can't, then I will learn the best healing magic there is and I will heal Issei-sama's body myself. I will take care of him no matter what happens. Just like I promised. So, even if it hurts to see you like that, I will support you. That's why. Please. Don't come back. Like this. Is Issei-sama? Pamf. Issei-sama? I held on to Ravel's body softly. I'm sorry, Ravel. I'm so sorry. Wah, Issei-sama? I'm sorry. I'll try my best. I'll try my best to take care of myself, so please forgive me. Issei-sama. By this time Ravel would be acting too embarrassed to continue being like this. But then, slide. I felt her hands run up and hold onto my back. Yes. I will always support Issei-sama, just like I promised. Even if it kills me, because I will be with Issei-sama, forever. Forever. Yeah. You will. We held each other silently. Some time passed, and we talked while we laid in bed together. We ended up falling asleep after some time. After a couple hours, Sensei ended up interrupting our sleep and poked fun at us for our position. I reported my victory to Sensei and he commended me. I then mentioned that he was the reason why I ended up like I did and, for the first time ever, I witnessed Ravel try to burn someone alive with her phoenix flames. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm glad she didn't end up getting mad at me when I came back beat up like that. I think I can deal with her sadness easier. Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Lucifer Gizia for writing that awesome fanfic and also make sure to comment on this story link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.